Pause.
Stand.
We gotta restart.
All over?
Yep.
Okay.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
He has a lot of problems.
Struggle to be top 5 in points at the end of the season.
Wow.
When you bleach your hair, you're a sellout.
Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the Moto Aftermath Show. This is episode 246. We're starting off in a bit of a rush here. We have Mr. Kevin Moranz on the phone here. He's about to get on a plane, so we've only got a few minutes to talk to him. So we'll get into all the other stuff.
Hello?
Yo, Kevin Moranz, what's going on, bud?
Oh, how's it going?
Great. How are you doing tonight?
Not too shabby.
Yeah.
Just massive delays here at the airport, so love it.
Oh,
What
yeah?
airport are you at right now?
PX, so Portland.
Exciting. So when are you getting out now?
So we were supposed to get home to Kansas City at 4:06 p.m. We are not leaving until 4:20 p.m. here, which is like, what, 7:20 p.m. your time? So
Yep.
we are not set to be back in Kansas City until a little bit past midnight.
That's exciting. That's
Yeah,
super
just gotta
exciting.
love it.
So, all right, man. So we got a couple things to go over. Let's start with the National yesterday at Washougal. And I got to ask here right off the rip, are there any regrets to riding the two-stroke?
No, absolutely not.
Were you seasoned on two-stroke beforehand? So you grew up, you're a little younger than us in my area. By the way, this is Tom Cooper on the line. Your old buddy.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
when you were younger, you were like, after 80s, you were done with two-strokes, right?
Correct. I never owned a 125, but we did go to Loretta's on a borrowed 125.
How very Moranz of you right there.
So the reason I asked that was, do you think had you been on the four-stroke, you would have been able to get points yesterday?
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's why I asked if there were regrets for riding that
I
compared
mean,
to the
there
four-stroke.
would be if I was like really in contention to get into the top 20 in points, but let's be honest, I'm not.
Okay.
So, yeah, I was all about it. I'm happy I didn't have to deal with an LCQ. I was close. I was terrifying. But,
dude, you were on Race Day Live last lap of you laying it down there to get in the top 36. So that was pretty good. They were all
Yeah.
over you that last lap. So
yeah, I know. So that was good. I need to watch that. So everybody told me they were talking me up, which is cool. And then they didn't even have me in the two-stroke results or whatever. I'm like, you guys just had me on TV talking about how I was on the two-stroke. Come on.
that's awesome.
But so yeah, that was good.
Was that your first
But yeah, I
time
mean,
doing
I
Washougal?
had no, it wasn't my first time doing Washougal. It was definitely my first time riding a two-stroke in about a year.
Yeah.
Because I hadn't done it since straight rhythm last year, so I don't really have much experience on the two-stroke. But I mean, it was fun. I had a really good time in the second half of each moto. The first half was absolutely brutal because like
All the roost.
going up those hills and trying to get around guys was like nearly impossible. Because I'm pretty good at like out driving somebody into a corner or getting on the gas a little early and driving up a hill harder. But when you're on a two-stroke compared to the 450s, going up like horsepower hill and stuff, like you can't outpower somebody. So it was slightly frustrating, but it was good.
I like the second moto when you were getting lapped the first time and you're going over that floater jump, just pointing like, "Hey, go on that side."
Yeah.
So that was awesome. Was the start kind of tricky too? Because I kind of didn't see you up towards the front at all in the start either.
It wasn't too bad, but like, dude, it's brutal. Like you're going up a hill that's shaded, you can't see anything.
Yeah.
And if you're mid-pack to back of pack, like I was,
Yep.
you are getting. It's like literally you're standing there and just imagine just getting pelted by paintballs everywhere on your body.
Sounds great. Sounds
Like
absolutely
you can
great.
hardly, like you can't hardly even see. Like you're like closing your eyes because it hurts so bad, kind of deal. So it's just gnarly. My starts obviously were a little bit off. Jumps were good, but just shifting and the pull of a 252 truck is not the same as the 450. And then yeah, just trying to, like, I was just getting pulled so bad up the hill on the first lap. So like I would start maybe mid pack, and by the time I got to the hill, 6 more dudes had passed me.
Yeah. But hey, I mean, you're on a Redbull KTM, so we can't complain, right?
Yeah, right. Bone stock.
Hey, so tell us about setting up for this race. Besides getting there, which is always a thing for Washougal, like setting up a bike you've never ridden before. Kind of give us how did it go for you? What was that like?
So, well, it was kind of a stressful situation. So obviously we did PRR the first Thursday night. Bike didn't show up in time, so that was just a stressful situation.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that in a minute. Let's stay on the national for a sec here.
Yes. So, well, long story short, after that, we didn't have a way to get it from the PRR to Washougal.
Sick.
So then I show up on Friday to get my bike work done, and I have press. I squeezed myself into press at 1 p.m. The bike did not make it to Washougal until 12:30 p.m. So
Sweet.
I had somebody else changing out handlebars and handlebar mounts while I was getting ready to then go ride a little bit. So it was just a little bit of a crapshoot in that situation. But it's part of it. It's just they don't have the parking situation figured out very well at Washougal.
A lot of that
So yeah, honestly. But so yeah, it just made that situation a little bit tough. But yeah, I mean, we just took the stock bike. It had an ECU that they had put in it, and then they got me T2 VP fuel or whatever. So that's all that was done to the bike. Stock everything else. Changed handlebar mounts, handlebars, and put my suspension on it, and that was it.
Wow.
Sick.
Indeed.
Redbull KTM, baby. All right, let's talk. So let's talk the Thursday night. Is it PRR? PRI?
PIR.
PIR.
Portland International Raceway.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so let's talk about that because there were so many things going on there. So the bike doesn't show up. How the hell does the bike not show up here? Like, what was our situation there?
There was a miscommunication. So I had asked the guy that owns / allows me to get my stuff transported with the team. I said, are you guys going to Thursday night, like fair race at Washougal? And he said yes. And I was like, okay, like just want to confirm, like if you guys are going to be there, I'll book a flight a day earlier to come race that race before the national.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like kind of confirming, like you guys will be at the Thursday night race at Washougal, which I shouldn't have said that at Washougal because he probably took it as like, are you going to be at Washougal?
Yeah, we'll be
But
there.
I was talking about the fair race. So there is a miscommunication. So I show up expecting my bike to be there and everything, and it wasn't there. So I was like, I honestly didn't know what I was going to do. So I posted on my story, and then we were just kind of walking around, and it was actually Shane McElrath's father-in-law was there. So he let me ride his bike and used his helmet, which he's a medium helmet. I'm an extra small. So like that was terrifying.
Interesting.
I was like,
Shane's dad, when I was with Grant Langston and KTM and those guys, Shane was one of the mechanics. He was AJ Catanzaro's mechanic. Kind of small world.
Yeah.
Well, this is Shane's father-in-law, so his wife's dad. So, but anyway, so put somebody else's. I had jersey and pants, but used somebody else's knee braces, helmet, goggles, chest protector, boots, everything like that. So got practice in, and then my bike got brought down from Washougal by Max Miller, who's part of the team that transports my stuff. And he saved the day because it got there at 6:30. Heat races started at 7. So we ripped it out. I got ready, went up to the line, won the heat race. And then in the main event, got out to a quick lead or an early lead, and then just about ended my life. So got pretty scared there and just kind of, it spooked me a little bit. So I just kind of toned it down a little bit, or it was like, not crazy worth it.
Yeah.
So I had some
That fair
fun.
race, you're feeling like, oh shit, I almost gave it up right there.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Dude, so it was hard to tell by the video. Did your jump suck and then you just powered through into that first corner there?
Yeah, you're looking at the
dude,
back fender of everybody. Then you're
they
up front.
all laid off way too early.
Okay. That was what I thought, but I was like, maybe I'll check. And then what ended up happening on that jump? Like, did you just hit a rut wrong or what?
No,
that?
if you saw, I blitzed the whoops, and we were all jumping the whoops. I blitzed those because I knew there was $1,000 up for the whole shot situation. So I was just like completely said screw it, and
full fucking.
So
send.
I was moving with more momentum than I had all day, and I hit kind of like I bottomed out on the bottom of that face, and set me in more of an endo, and that was a big jump that didn't have a big enough face to get all the way over it. So you were landing rear tire first the whole time, all night. So when I went off of it and got that sensation, and then also was landing front tire first, I don't know how my feet came off or why they did, but it gave me like the you got to bail over the front sensation kind of deal. Feeling. Yeah, and I haven't had that sensation in a long time, so I flailed a little bit, and just thank God I rode that out.
Flying W'd that motherfucker.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
So that spiked the heart rate, made me a little bit sketchy and whatnot. So then, I was pretty bummed to miss the podium by like half a bike length by the end of it, but yeah, it squirreled me out a little bit, so it is what it is. Still
After
fun
that,
night.
You're like, I'll just enjoy my night and go race a national instead.
How much money? You win? How much money you win at that race?
I got like $1,200 for fourth.
Sweet.
Plus $1,000 for the whole shot. So
I didn't get $1,000 for the whole shot. So
lame.
One of the officials said I got it. One of the officials said that Ryder Floyd got it. So instead of them taking the full amount away from either of us, I just proposed let's just split it.
So, can we protest this?
Why?
Just because I just feel like you got that, so we should protest it.
Yeah, it's all good.
So,
it is what it is.
So, what's a plan for the 2 weeks off here?
What'd you say?
What's the plan for the 2 weeks off here?
Go back home, try to enjoy a little bit this week, and then track build, Supercross track rebuild happens. Okay, so enjoy time this week. Birthdays next week, and then the last week before Unadilla is when Supercross track rebuild goes down.
Sweet.
So they'll be all coming there and whatnot, and we will see what our racing plans in the future look like. But yeah, we'll kind of see on that. I'll keep you in the loop, but I don't want to say too much on here.
How old are you, Big Kev? How old are you next week?
I'll be 24.
Wow.
Prime, baby.
That's awesome.
Prime.
Dude, I know. It feels I remember when I was rolling around saying I was 18 years old traveling the country racing. Like, man, time's going fast.
I say enjoy it, because 24 to 28 is like super prime, and then once you hit like 29, you start getting towards 30, and you're like, fuck, I'm staring at 30 now. And then once you get over 30, like, shit just doesn't work the same, bro. I gained 4 pounds yesterday by eating 3 rolls at Texas Roadhouse, all right? Like, it's fucking ridiculous, man. 30s hit you like a ton of bricks.
I was already retired.
Those rolls will get you.
Yeah.
Not that I was as good anywhere like that, but I was already long retired before I was 24. Now I'm thinking back on it.
There's a high chance here, high probability that me and the chick are going to stop by on our way through Kansas there for lunch, dinner, something with you and the fam next weekend. So,
oh heck yeah,
high probability here, because it's not that far out of the way.
You better bring him a birthday present.
Yeah.
I give it like 95%. I am bringing a birthday present. Crisp high five, and my amazing personality is going to show up.
I
like
it.
I will probably also pay for the whatever the hell we go to, lunch, dinner, whatever the fuck it is. The meal,
right,
the bread we break. I know he's a struggling privateer, and he only got half that whole shot money. If he got the whole thing, actually, you know what? If he'd have won that 2-stroke money, I'd be like, I know it's your birthday, but you're picking this tab up, bro.
Yeah,
I know you just got
100%.
20 grand. So,
yeah.
So you got anything else for him here?
So next race for you, what Unadilla or what's going on?
We'll see. Yeah, I mean, based off the points right now, I'm not going to move outside of the top 30, and I'm not going to move inside of the top 20. So
Unadilla's a lot of
kind
fun.
of
I think
depends.
you would do really well there.
Yeah, I know. Like,
The
I
dirt's
could
a lot
go
less
there.
brutal, like the P&W dirt you just came
He's
from.
not coming to
Yeah.
Iron Man. We're gonna have to beg, borrow, and steal to get some pit passes here.
no matter what I'm doing Iron Man, it's just the Unadilla and Buds are kind of up in the air right now,
Okay,
because Unadilla, so they come on August 8th to start rebuilding the track.
Yes.
I would have to leave the 10th to head to Unadilla. So then I would get to see them pretty much tearing down the old track, and would not be there for any of the building process. So I wouldn't be able to give any of my 2 cents. I wouldn't be able to video it the way I want to video it and do a vlog on it and video and, do that whole spiel of situation.
Which is prime.
And yeah, so I'll probably, as of right now, the way I look at it, save the body, take those 2 weeks off, race Ironman, get ready for Super Motocross. And then, because after that, like, dude, I'm not going to stop racing for another 8 months probably, because I'll go. Imagine I race Unadilla and Buds. I get 2 weekends off here. I'd rather make it 4 weekends off, so I pretty much get a month off. This would be kind of like my off season.
Yep.
And then go take those 2 weeks off. Then you go. Sorry. Okay, so we take those 2 weekends off. Then we have Unadilla, Buds, Ironman, 1 weekend off, Super Motocross, Super Motocross, Super Motocross, World Supercross, weekend off, World Supercross, weekend off, World Supercross, World Supercross, weekend off, World Supercross. Boom, full on prep for 3 weeks, and then go racing Supercross here in the States.
Sounds like you're living the absolute dream. You hear a lot of people say that living the dream thing, and most of the time it's like somebody that works at fucking Rite Aid, and you're like, oh, what's the dream? You're working at Rite Aid. No, this is living the dream right here.
Yeah.
It is pretty fun, man. But like doing a lot of it on our own, it gets tolling when you do a lot of the traveling, and then on top of it, outdoors. Like,
especially
it's not very financially beneficial.
Yep.
And then also, like, yeah, dude, I think it would be smarter to save my body a little bit, take a little bit of a break, come in, race Ironman, and get ready for Super Motocross. Like, there's no need to grind out every single outdoor that I possibly can.
I was gonna say, to be honest with you, the content for the Supercross build is probably worth at least the same amount or more than the content for at the outdoor races of you know, sneaking in the top 20 there. So I can't really blame you. Plus, when you lay it out there and you think about the Super Motocross rounds, the WSX rounds, and then you got like 3 weeks before before the state start. It's
Supercross,
like, it's like, okay, well, we probably should do this because it's you're a busy guy in the off season also here with trying to get your shit together. So,
do you guys remember when David Villeman's Buku team was on? I think it was not Speed TV, but one of those ones, and they had a TV show.
Yeah, no, it was on Mav or something. Mav, or maybe it was
Mav.
Speed Channel. It was Speed
like
Channel.
OLN maybe? Oh, anyways, one of those ones.
Yep.
So they wish they had a Kevin Moranz and all the shit. They had all the drama with David Villeman and all the weirdos they had over there, but they wish they had a Kevin Moranz because, like, his vlog has so much content. He just needs, like, 4 cameramen following him around all the time.
Please let me know.
That'd be nice.
Look, the vlog at Ironman's going to be good because I'm going to be there to get some B-roll for you. So,
hey, speaking of which,
he's
dragging me along with him. If you need any help at the National, we'll be there.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, we'll have Dad there, so I can get
awesome.
2 mechanics passes, so it could be the old Frank Moranz, Tom.
The old Frank Tom tag team. All right, let's go.
Dude, one of these rounds, I'm going to have to mechanic for him so that I can talk about the experience of being a privateer mechanic at a race, dude.
We'll have to do it at another fair cross.
Man.
I mean, I can hold a fucking pitboard out, okay? It's not that hard. Look, here's the rules of the day, Kev. Don't hit the deck. I'm not replacing shit. All right? I'll wash the bike off.
Pretty much.
I'll wash the bike. I'll change the air filter. I'll check the tire pressure.
Shit, even that isn't as easy sometimes.
If you crash and bend shit, we're done. All right, that's it. We're done. Wrap it up. We're drinking beers and watching the rest of the moto. All right.
Sometimes even that ain't so easy. Like Redbud last year, the water ran out at the track, so we were running around between motos trying to find friggin' water and a pressure washer and stuff. Like simple things aren't even so easy when you're privateer boy, right? So it's tough.
But like I said, I need to do it at some point. I need to go to a race where I'm like, okay, I'm media, but I'm media learning about this side of it because I haven't done that side of it ever. So
yeah.
So one of these years, Kev, one of these years.
Hey, what we got?
I'm down for it.
The thing that's the beauty of having this podcast is not so much like hey, here's what happened last week. The couple thousand people that listen to it. It's by the time you're retired, there's 600,000 people that listen to the episode don't give a crap about what you did this week. They care about where you're at in your career, what you're living through, right? So when you just went and you did this race and you had all this chaos trying to get your bike and your gear and all the other crap there, those kind of experiences are really where the value is, right? So where you're at right now, I'm sure there's like some lessons learned stuff and things like that. But this is a kind of a new avenue for you because now it's not just you in your van with the generator on the back door. It's you and your girlfriend and your family's involved and that kind of thing. So what's it like right now for you, Kev? What's being number 80 for the next 2 months here? What's that like?
Yeah, 100%. No, it's fun. And that, I mean, I would have to agree. Like in the situations I'm in, it can get exhausting and like be like, oh my goodness, like one thing after another. But it always is fun to look back on them, and that's why I do enjoy the vlog situation. Is because like, Rachel, when I travel to these races, like it goes so quickly that you can look back on it and watch it and relive it, kind of deal. And it's like it's enjoyable to do that. Like I enjoy watching the vlog just as much as everybody else.
That's awesome.
So
you're fresh still too, man. Wait till you get like 5, 6, 7 years down the road, because I started doing the vlog thing and the show in like 2016 or something like that, 2017, and now it's to the point that like Facebook will bring up old vlogs in memories, and then I'll like watch them and be like, oh man, look at that, was the color of my truck. Look at all the hair I fucking had back then, like dumb shit like that, like, you know. But it's like I mean, like they say, you're essentially creating a video log of your life, and then in 20 years, when you have kids who are old enough to understand things, you can be like, look, this was your dad back in the day, you know, and show them, and they can go, wow, look at dad there, you know, and or grandkids in 50 years or whatever, you know, and that's like, that's the same thing that I'm like, you know, even though I'm just sitting here talking about dumb, pointless motocross, at some point in the future, my offspring and their offspring can watch it and go, look, there's dad, there's grandpa, like, man, he was really into this or whatever. Look at his personality there, even though I'm not talking about anything. You know, it's just, it's great to have, on top of the fact of you can use it for marketing here, which is even better. And like I said, we're going to crush this B-roll game at Ironman, so the Ironman vlog's going to be great.
That's why I like it too, is like, I mean, God forbid anything happens to me, or, you know, a family member that, or a friend that's in the vlog, like, you know, there's memories to be had with the people that are a part of it. And I think that's cool for, you know, you don't want to think about it, but any kind of tragic situation and whatnot, like there's video evidence and there's memories you can go back to no matter what happened.
This is really beautiful.
Like, it's creating memories and like being able to, you know how it is, like just how you said, like when you get a vlog that pops up from your past, like, oh shoot, and then all the memories flood back in of what you were doing that day and that trip and yada yada yada. So it is pretty cool.
Well, and just like last weekend or whenever it was that your dad was in the vlog, like, dude, first off, I'm like, fuck yeah, Frank, dude. I love it when he's in there. And then, but like, dude, like when you go back later, like you and him are going to be able to sit there in 20 years and watch that and be like, man, y'all, you remember that race, Dad? And he's going to be like, hell yeah. And then like, you're just going to go down it. So, I mean, I have the same thing with the personal vlog I did back when I started, even though it didn't go anywhere. But it's like, I have those memories now locked and loaded in video, ready to go at any point. So,
yeah.
That's a beautiful thing. So right before I came here, as soon as I rolled in, we called you. So like we haven't even started the rest of the regular show yet. But right before I came here, I was at a funeral memorial for my little brother's girlfriend's little brother. Anyways, long story short, I really thought a lot about like the legacy and the purpose stuff. Right? He was young. He was your age, a little bit older than you, Kev. So like think about the legacy of that. Well, where the memorial of it was for him, like you're living where you're going to look back on and what your grandkids are going to look back on that stuff. So to have this and to be able to kind of look back on it, it's a real beautiful thing.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
These are the glory years for you, bud.
But really,
we all look back on our 20s and go, man, we were so awesome then. Whether we were or not, who the fuck knows? But we felt awesome then. So,
that's funny.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you calling in. I know you're delayed and stuff, but I'm sure that, sitting there talking in the airport's not a lot of fun. So,
it's all good.
So we appreciate you coming on, and I'll talk to you this week, man, and keep you posted on what the plan is here next weekend when we're rolling through. So,
number 80 in your program, number 1 in your hearts, ladies.
I like it. Sounds good. I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right, later, bud. Thank you.
All
right, Kevin Moranz, everybody. We are going to take a quick break here, get reset for the main part of the show. Again, like I said, we jumped in. Kev was on a limited time because his phone was dying, and then he was supposed to be getting on the airplane. So we just had to get in and get that done. So we're going to take a quick break. We will be back to go over the Washougal race recap and talk about all sorts of other stuff. I got a bunch of notes for a bunch of different things this week. So sit tight. We'll be right back. Yo, what is up, everyone? Welcome back to episode 246. This is take 3 for us here. If I would learn to start the fucking audio recorder, we'd be way better off. So this show's off to a banger start. Yeah. We run right in with Kevin Moranz. And by the way, didn't even notice this. I forgot to shut the damn fan off back here. Yep. So I'm sure that sounds great. Between his airport noise and the fan that was blowing on us, I'm sure that was awesome. So that was the first thing. And now we just went through the intro, or most of it, and I didn't start the audio recorder. Welcome to episode 246 here. Washougal wrap up. We've got lots to talk about. In studio with me, he's got exes in Texas. Because I'm not going through everything I just said the first time. It's the one and only Tom Cooper. Well, hey, buddy.
Well, hey, I'm glad to be here.
Tom Cooper has not been on the show since Iron Man last year, so he's back. He doesn't live that close. Calling and scheduling calls and all that kind of shit because we don't get good service in here, so we got to call through the Wi-Fi. It's all a mess.
For a minute there, I thought I had gotten canceled. You know how all this weird liberal stuff happens. I thought maybe you guys had gotten the liberal bug out here and I was banned. I don't know. You never know nowadays.
Speaking of canceled, have you seen that Patrick Bet-David thing with Anthony Weiner?
Him and the other one. Who was the other one? Anthony Weiner and then
Cuomo?
Podesto.
Podesto?
Yeah.
He had Podesto on?
Yeah, Podesta. John Podesta, who might be Chester Bennington's dad. I'm pretty sure it probably looks pretty common.
I don't know. I'm going to have to go back and watch that. Me and Ashley were watching the one with Anthony Weiner last night.
Yeah, weird, right?
The unhinged section.
I'm surprised he even came on there because he has to know that they're not going to give him no bullshit.
Hammered, and I've never seen Patrick get upset, and then Patrick got upset.
Feisty.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, this is a new side of him. Yeah. But anyway, go check that out. Patrick Bet-David, Anthony Weiner. Even if you don't watch the whole thing, there's a 18-minute segment of Anthony Weiner coming unhinged. It's fucking awesome. So anyway, thanks everybody for tuning in. Before we get started here, let's thank the sponsors here. So we're going to start off with always with us, kind of new, but like through the same. The mad scientist Coach Rob has started a new company called Complete Med Solutions, and they will scientifically help you with your blood work to figure out what you need to do to become a better athlete, both on and off the bike or whatever kind of sports you're doing. They can help you figure out what is essentially wrong with you, for lack of a better term, through your blood work. It doesn't require any orders for labs through your doctor or anything. You just get your blood drawn, you send it off to them, and him and his panel of doctors go through it, and they tell you what you're lacking, whatever. I'm trying to get a TRT subscription, low test. Maybe it's not low. Maybe I'm just trying to have extra high test.
Yeah,
I'm trying to spike that up here. And but no, that's just a joke. But anyway, like I said, they will help you scientifically through your blood work. So make sure you check them out, CompleteMedSolutions.com. Link in the description down below.
The blood work thing, let me get in here a little bit. The blood work thing is super important because, like, for example, I retired in 2012, and right around that same time, I crashed riding a supercross track backwards and shattered my shoulder. But I also crashed in sand, and the handlebar was sticking up. I landed on my gut on the end of the handlebar, and I was sick as a dog for like 7 years. And we couldn't figure out why. And we found a bunch of shit, but they did a bunch of tests and like $40,000, and 13 doctors later, what we ended up doing was fixing it with supplements. And it was like zinc and all kinds of like really minerals mostly.
Yeah.
And if I had done the blood work, like regular doctors will not do this because they're not trying to fix you. They're trying to treat you.
Yep.
But if I had gone to my current chiropractor, who's almost going to retire now because he's so fucking old, if I had gone to him in the beginning, I would have probably still been racing for another 5, 6, 7 years. But you can tell a lot of that stuff by blood and hair samples, and it's amazing. The deficiencies is the big thing. So you can really like turn up B, like your B complex, all your B vitamins and stuff. But just finding the deficiencies is a huge thing. Because like, for example, without zinc and vitamin B, you're not making shit for stomach acid. So then your pancreas has to work overtime, which makes you nauseous. And like I was vomiting bile, and it's funny how all this works. So get your blood done, get your hair tested, and you'll be able to turn that in without having to go through 7 years and $40,000.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. Also on board with us here presenting the show, TLR Coatings. We are in the TLR Coatings studio here, Michigan's #1 custom powder coat shop. Everything from two-tone wheels to motorcycle parts. So if you're doing a vintage bike restoration or anything like that, they can help you out with that. If you're local in Michigan, you stop by the shop anytime. Check out the color selection. Check out some of the projects we're working on. Drop your stuff off. If you're not local, you can ship us stuff. We ship stuff in and out all the time, so that's not a problem. Make sure to check them out, TLRcoatings.com, and on all the major social media networks at TLR Coatings. We've got Holster Co on board with us. I got a Holster Co Reload rant coming up. You got a rant You want to rant about something?
Sure. Give me a couple minutes to think about something.
Well, we got some time. We're not jumping into that right off the bat. We have a stupid TLR tinfoil hat that was brought up to me by someone. Like, people on the internet will say fucking anything.
Oh,
so.
I'm tinfoil all day. Let's go,
Oh,
babe.
no. This is motocross related.
Oh, okay. Well,
we're not doing the other tinfoil podcast yet.
Everyone that's watching it has ever met either of us is like, okay, we're ready.
So we got a TLR tinfoil hat section with something that was written online that's fucking dumb, but I'm gonna read it anyway and then make fun of it. Even though people do that to me, but that's fine. I mean, it's part of the internet. Like I said, we got Holster Code Reload Rant. We have the Isaac Nelson Designs Deegan Danger Zone. That's going to be fun. And we've got Gutter Works bringing you our 450 race recap, and Adept Creative Co. going to bring you our 250 race recap. And we got a couple other things to kind of talk about here that have happened over the last couple weeks here with the moto industry. So to start right off here, we're going to jump right in. Your 450 race recap brought to you by our friends at Gutter Works. Gutter Works, always well hung, just like Justin Barstow. Josh and Kayla, great moto people, and they will do exterior modifications to your house and make it look fucking just, beautiful.
Librettos?
Yep.
Good people.
Great people. Got like 400 kids. I'm not even sure she can keep track of all of them at any one time. But they all ride, which is awesome.
That's why you're trying to get that TRT so you can pump about 7 or 8 of them into Ashley, isn't it?
I can't afford that. Josh makes a shit ton of money, apparently. Yeah, I don't make anywhere close to that. So, anyway, all right. So, 450 race recap here. Okay. So, we're going to fire right off here. And this is going to be great because I haven't had you on the show for a while here. So, I don't have... we talk a little bit, but mostly we're talking business when we're talking.
Yeah, we're business guys.
So I don't have a whole lot of insight on what your thoughts are here. Okay, so Jet goes 1-1 again at a track that he says should not be on the schedule. So he clearly doesn't like it.
Me too.
He has not gone 1-1 there. Period. End of discussion in the 250 days. This was one of the tracks that I thought was going to be a big hurdle. There were two. Yeah. There's two on the schedule. This one and Unadilla.
Oh.
And I'm still thinking the Unadilla one's going to break the streak, but we'll see.
Wow.
But, dude, he still made it look easy. Did you watch the qualifying show?
I tried to.
Dude.
Fucking Peacock got me.
Q2 there, was he like 3rd, 4th, 5th, something like that for like Q1? And they're like, I don't know how close he'll get to the top or whatever. As soon as Stu says that, which is like it's like the curse. Boom. He goes like 14.5 or something, and he's like a couple tenths off. Comes around the next lap, boom, 2:14.1.
He's so good.
In the second qualifying session. Yeah. And it was just like, it was unbelievable, man.
It was a kind of wild track. We're going to get into this as the show goes on. But just the dirt alone is so wild because it's kind of like California where it's
clay.
It's a slick base, but it's also loamy. So once you get through the loam and it gets slick, you'll be traction then spin. Well, when you're into the shadows and stuff, the track dries out differently. Like the first corner, for example, like it was all dusty. It's dusty on top and then slick on the base. So you're coming into that, and you got to be real careful about that. So that's one of the biggest challenges for Washougal is you get a guy like Jet, and he could be hauling ass and then slides out and.
Yep.
There goes the season.
Just like Hunter did yesterday, which we'll get to in the 250 class. Now, let me ask you this. Do you think Jet gets beat this year?
No.
You think
Chase is really good, though. Chase is really good, and Dylan Ferrandis is really good at Unadilla.
Kenny's going to be at Unadilla, too.
Oh, that's great.
And Kenny's a fucking monster at Unadilla.
That's great.
So, as everybody knows, I'm a huge Jet homer. I've been preaching perfect season since the beginning here. However... knowing that Kenny's coming to Unadilla, and Kenny is a monster there.
Tough.
I mean, dude, Kenny gave him fits at High Point.
Yeah.
And that was basically, I mean, you can say off the couch, who really knows? Right. He didn't have a lot of prep, let's put it that way. So now he's had some more time. He knows he's coming to Dilla and Buds. Buds, I don't think he touches Jet. I think Buds, it looks a lot like High Point, where even if he gets a start and he's leading Jet for a while there, boom, he's off. And Jet gets it. But the Unadilla one makes me nervous because Jet, I don't know if you remember last year, he was not good at Unadilla. It didn't go well for him at all. Now, maybe the 450 straightens that out because, again, he hasn't been great at Washougal.
He's so good.
But, dude, it is wild how good he is.
All right, so we're talking about Jet, but I want to really preface this right now. Normally, Unadilla, you got two things that happen. You got rookies coming up from Loretta's, which doesn't really affect 450s.
Nope.
But then you got a lot of Euros that come over, like Clement de Sal and all those guys come over a lot of times for Unadilla, and it suits them well.
I haven't heard anything about that yet.
Okay.
Anybody coming that hasn't been here yet. I haven't heard anything. I don't think Hurlings is healthy enough to ride
I wish
yet.
he was.
I do too. But yeah, so I'm still 85%, 90% that we're going to get this perfect season. Let's put it this way. If he makes it through Dilla and he goes 1-1, he perfect seasons it.
I'm a little bit of a gambling man. Are you going to put something on Jet? 24? Is it still 24?
No, it's 22. We only got 11.
Are you,
I
if
don't.
you had $20 in your hand, are you putting it on Jet going to 22-0?
Dude, I mean,
You're almost there.
I know the big wild card is that Kenny's gonna show up to race.
Yeah.
And dude, Kenny's so fucking good at Unadilla.
Yeah.
Like Kenny can go all year and not do shit, and then he gets to Unadilla and he wins by 35 seconds. Like, it's just wild. So I don't know, man. Like I said, I'm like 85-90% still that we're gonna go perfect season, because he's just. Now, he did show a bit that he was human yesterday because he didn't lead every lap.
Yeah,
He did follow for a couple of laps there before he zapped
the first
people.
lap, I think it was Ferranda's first lap, right?
He followed just long enough to fuck up my first to the finish line fantasy shit so that I couldn't get those points. But yeah, that's.
I never have been a fantasy guy. Maybe I should be on this show, but I'm a little bit of a riverboat gambler. And,
Yeah.
we might have to put some wagers on this one.
I don't know why you don't play fantasy then, because you could join Industry Idiots for $100 to try to win some money.
Because it's
essentially gambling.
I don't know. It's just different.
So, now on another side note here, this has been brought up this week, and I thought this was interesting. So it's obviously as good as he is here, and the perfect season talk. The only other people the perfect season are Ricky and James. And everybody's like, oh, it's not the same. He's not going to go 24. It's only 22. All the shit like that. Which
Man.
James started prefacing this at like Thunder Valley of like, well, even if he does, it's only 22. You know,
That part of it's
which is like,
pitter-patter, but-
yeah, which whatever. Perfect season's perfect season. However, it is important to note that like James and Ricky were like 23, 24 when they had theirs.
I
So,
remember
which
both
is
of those
like,
happening, and they were crazy.
which is way older than Jet is.
Yeah, that's true.
He's 19.
He might really go and be competing for Carmichael's records. It's a real chance.
I'm here to tell you, dude. McGrath was on Pulp last week, and he's like, look, we haven't seen him ride Supercross yet. He goes, but you got to think he's 19. If he goes in and wins 6 or 7 at least the first year, he's like, I could be looking at the backside of second place for all-time wins here.
Yeah.
At Supercross, you know. So
I haven't watched Pope in a long time, but I think
I
that
listen
sounds
to it
about
every
right.
week because there's lots of good info in there. There's lots of good little tidbits they throw in, and that's why I listen to it, because I like to have that insider information.
I'm a little out of the loop on that stuff.
And they will make different comments that like you would think are harmless, but then I start connecting dots with things I know, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. So anyway, all right, cool. So let's go. Let's see
The
if
reason
this
I
is gonna
don't,
work
I
here.
haven't listened to it and don't watch that is because I don't like when people just talk shit. Mm-hmm. And Steve's a pretty good dude, but one time he really let it fly about Kyle Regal, and we aren't best buds, but you know he grew up.
Mm-hmm.
We rode a lot, you know, like that kind
Yep.
of stuff, and fuck that. I
Steve,
don't play that.
One thing I will say is Steve is very much not scared to say what's on his mind about things. So
I'm a respect guy though, and if you,
Yeah.
I'll tell you some shit, but I'm going to be respectful about
Yeah.
it, and like that's my
He-
guy. I'll
he
kick
will-
your fucking ass.
he also, I believe, is like all of us, is he will get with his buddies on that show and he will get going on something and his mouth runs faster than I think he wants it to. Things that he probably wouldn't say normally, but it's just like,
Yeah.
it's like sometimes when me and Justin get going and we just start rattling off, you know, it's funny shit that like you would say like, oh, fucking James Stewart would never beat Bob Hanna or some dumb shit
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that, you know, on the tailgate of the truck. But then you say it in a public forum and you're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, it's on record for the next 200 years.
Yeah. So, all right. So, Sexton goes 2-2. Couple of tip overs there. Second moto tip over. I 100% agree. He went in, drugged the shifter through that rut on the inside, and hit
stalled it.
neutral. He didn't stall it. He hit neutral. You can watch him like as he starts to roll on. It's like power, 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 and then it's just like, bleh, and then he falls over. So, which wasn't pushing the front, but it's still like, ah, man.
Okay, so this is a perfect time to mention that I always
Yeah.
thought that it was the dumbest thing that in full race bikes that you're able to get into neutral without pushing some kind of lever or something, just like a hot start used to be.
Yeah.
Like, why the hell can I even get into neutral on
I
a
don't know.
Supercross bike? Isn't that the dumbest thing ever?
I don't know.
Give me a little lever, and if I don't touch the lever, then don't fucking give me neutral.
I'll be honest. I'm not a good enough engineer to know how to do that. I assume it could be done very easily.
Yeah.
But again, I'm not an engineer. And then the other thing you got to think too is they're like, well, if you crash in the middle of the race or something like that happens to Chase, do you really want him having to think about that too, as opposed to just like normal popping it into neutral? I don't know. It's one of those like splitting hair things. Dude, Chase is super good, but man, he is like he just doesn't quite have it. And we're gonna get into the TLR tinfoil hat here with some information that was brought forward / this stupid opinion that's happening, and I'm just like, I don't know.
Let me start by saying that I really respect James Stewart, but I don't love how they talk about Chase on the podcast. I don't love it.
Did you watch the Southwick race
Yeah.
where James basically told him to tuck the front end just so he didn't feel so
think
bad?
That's such bullshit.
It's dude, I mean, but here's the thing. We all know, in the infamous words of Steve here, that these riders are all fragile butterflies mentally. And like, think about it. How is Chase feeling right now that this 19-year-old kid jumps up to the 450 and he is spanking him?
Yeah, and one of the best of all time that you used to pay to coach you is shit talking you on the fucking live broadcast. That's the craziest thing ever.
Well, did you hear Jet? This was brought up, or this was shown several times yesterday. How about Jet being like, oh yeah, at Spring Creek, I knew he was coming, so I slowed up to let him get close to me so that way when he was there and he attacked, I had more energy.
I didn't hear that.
Dude, he said it, and they played it a lot. He literally said, and then it was funny because when they played it on the broadcast, Weege then called out James and was like, you wouldn't know anything about that, would you, James?
Chad Reed, I heard that part.
Yeah,
Yep.
and Ashley's like, what's he talking about? I'm like, dude, there was a race that Reed was talking some shit to
Unadilla.
Stu. Yeah, Unadilla. I'm like, and Stu literally I don't remember if he got a bad start or whatever, but he caught him, passed him, and then pulled over and let him by, and then passed him again and told him never to fucking talk about it again.
Unadilla 03. Chad
Yep.
Reed was on the 103.
It was 03 or 02. I thought they said it was 02. I don't
might be
remember.
wrong, but
one of those years, but yeah.
Chad Reed on the 103 Yamaha. I've
Dude,
watched that
the
1,000
best
times.
fucking move ever. The best fucking move ever.
And
I
that
mean,
followed the rest of their career. So you think about what that does to the mental of your
Yeah.
opponent. So like what Jet just did there, although not great. What he did was he totally flexed on him and he totally mind fucked him.
I mean the funny thing is like we all talk about like and not just us. This is everyone all the way up the chain of fucking media for this. All talk about he's got more in the tank than what he's using right now against these guys.
He looks like he's cruising, doesn't he?
Yeah, and then we're all like, I don't know, maybe I don't know. And then he makes a comment like that, and you're like, holy shit, he really does have more in the tank. Like, dude, you've raced, I've raced, and even though we both suck, at no point was I slow enough to let the guy behind me who I was pacing catch me to know so that way when he did put a charge in, I was fresh.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever done that really, just to fuck with people. But I don't suck. But you know,
I've never done that in anything.
No,
not a go-kart, not on a dirt bike, nothing. If I could get away from you, I was going.
I've never done it in like a serious race. I do like you do it all the time with your buddies and shit
Yeah,
like that,
but
like,
that's a completely different thing too than like, hey, like this guy really will come up and pass you,
yeah.
and like that's gonna cost you $100,000. So I don't know, dude. That was
If I'm Jet, I'm watching that. But or that Unadilla 03. Maybe it was 02.
Let me ask you this. So me and Justin kind of touched on this before, and maybe it was me and Hopper and Chris on Hopper's show too kind of touched on it, that like Jet is a guy that wants to know he can beat everyone, okay? And he works on that confidence by actually beating them. He hasn't had to race Tomac yet.
Yeah, I think about this a lot actually.
And it's out there. Dan Truman openly said that, like, at the practice track a few weeks ago, Jet came up to him and was like, hey, you think I beat Tomac? And Dan's like, no. He's like, I think you would beat him occasionally, but he's like, I don't think you would beat him like you've been cleaning everybody else's clock.
Yeah, he also had more in the tank too, Eli Tomac.
Yeah, so the real question is like, we all at this point think, I'm 99% sure, Tomac's going to come back ride Supercross next year. Obviously, Jet's going to be there with this huge boost of confidence here. Because let's face it, Do you see anybody beating Jet at the SMX rounds either?
So I'm glad you asked me. So there's 3 things I want to mention right now. First, I'll answer your question. I think that there are a few guys that could be there and scratch at it. Jason Anderson, Cooper Webb, Chase Sexton. Do I think that Jet is going to beat Eli? I don't know. But what I do think is that Jet goes fast going slow.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. He kind of can be so smooth. And
Said that
effortless.
yesterday at Washougal. He's like, in practice when he dropped his time, he's like, yeah, I started slowing down to go faster.
I don't know the last time I saw him where I was like, holy shit, he's sprinting right now. Although he does go fast. When I see Eli Tomac with like the junkyard dog, I'm going to go through this corner.
Mm-hmm.
That ain't Jet Lawrence, right? So I would like to see those two parts of their game go head to head.
Yeah.
Just like Cooper Webb is like got that dog in him, right? Cooper Webb's kind of like that too. If he can dust off the rust, and he's.
I'll tell you right now, Webb is not anywhere close speed wise to Jet. Not anywhere close.
He's also going to the Yamaha.
It doesn't matter. He may beat him. Like I saw it this year with the KTM. He's an opportunist. He's Chad Reed against Stu and Ricky.
Yeah.
He's an opportunist. So if it's there, he could win, yes. And I'm not saying he won't ever win
Especially in
again.
Supercross.
Yeah, and I'm not saying he won't ever win again. But you get all of them out the same start and they're having a halfway decent night. He does not have that top end speed.
I don't know that he's that much faster at Supercross than our champion either. Like Chase Sexton, he's also fast as hell.
Have you noticed something else? Something else I noticed too a couple weeks ago. I don't remember where it was. Maybe it was Southwick. So last year we saw Chase battle Eli, right?
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, Chase is so smooth and all this stuff, and Eli's just a bulldog. And now you watch Chase ride against Jet, complete opposite. You're like, dude, Chase is bulldogging this shit.
Just jittery looking?
And yeah, and like I can't remember. I think it was Southwick. And I'm watching Chase ride, and Chase is just like, looks like Tomac, like just bulldogging, like, I'm going to plow through this corner. And then you got Jet's just like, whoop, let's jump. Oh, look, bumps. Okay, sweet. Oh, whoop, sand, sweet. Here we go. And I'm like, holy shit, what a flip in 12 months of like, oh man, Chase is so smooth. And then now you see him ride against Jet, and you're like, he's not smooth at all.
That's interesting to say that about Jet jumping through braking bumps and stuff, because I never really saw that in the States, except for James to do it some just because he's going so fast. But where I really saw that was the Canadian Nationals. Colton Fasciotti, Tyler Medaglia, and
T-Dags.
He's awesome. He's such a cool guy.
It's hilarious.
And
87 different styles of handlebars every day to test. It's fine.
Blair Morgan back in the day too, but especially Colton Fasciotti. I would watch them. Dusty Klatt too.
Yeah.
Their tracks get rough as absolute fuck, and they're not like the same shape, but they would like BMX bunny hop the braking bumps and make rhythms out of them. I had never seen that in my career. That's when I saw it, and I was like, oh, I gotta learn this right now, and it helped me a lot. But Jet does that a lot more than average.
Jet does a lot.
T and the Frenchies do that a lot. Marv's not in it, but he's common to see do that too.
So you don't think Sexton beats him at all this year?
Outdoors, nah, I don't know. Supercross, yes. I really don't think that he's going to be...
I don't think he'll go... No, there's no way... We've never seen that, and I would highly doubt that we're ever going to see someone do a perfect season in Supercross. There's just too many variables on essentially the start in Supercross. So I don't ever see that happening. But okay, so all right, so moving on here. So Ando goes 4-4 for third. Okay.
He doesn't seem to have his edge, but let me tell you, he's still a dog. He can go.
Ando doesn't have the speed outdoors. We saw that last year. Like, he got broken last year outdoors with Tomac and Sexton running away from him by 30 to 40 seconds every round. He, like, you could literally see it at the beginning of the year, like, he's in the press conference, because he was, like, the third best dude, and it was like, okay, sweet, okay, sweet, okay, sweet, and then at a certain point, you just saw him kind of be like, I don't fucking have this speed. Like, I thought I had it, I don't. And, like, it's just that way again. Like, he just doesn't have that speed. Now, because the field's depleted, it doesn't look as bad because he's getting third. But, like, you put Dylan Ferrandis on a bike he likes that's set up properly for him, and Dylan's going to beat him all day long, too, every single race. And then you put Tomac out there, and all of a sudden, Ando's just, like, barely a top 5 dude, you know?
Jason's one of those guys where we're just talking about how Jet tiptoes around the track.
Yeah.
He goes so fast. Jason is going as fast as the track can hold him.
Yeah. I'll be interested to see what he looks like on that Triumph in a couple years here.
He'll be like later in his career. He'll be like...
Well, yeah, he's 30, so he's going to be like 32 when he gets on that. But I 100% believe he's on Triumph for 1 or 2 years because he'll race Kawasaki's next year. And then in 25, when the Triumph 450 comes out, he will race on that team. So Dylan goes 3.5 for 4th.
What were you just saying about his bike?
His bike's fucking terrible. He hates that bike. He absolutely hates. I don't know why they can't get that thing set up.
Much over a year.
23 was a new bike.
Yeah.
New frame, new whatever. Like they struggle with it in Supercross too. So yeah, so that's why. And they cannot get it set up for him. You watch it, Justin says all the time, like it looks fucking terrible. And then the way he speaks about it, it's bad. He doesn't have a deal for next year.
Really?
He's out at Star because Star is going to be Cooper Webb, Eli Tomac, and Justin Cooper, and then like everywhere else is full. So I heard he's talking to the Hemp guys, but Hemp is going to change manufacturers, and I'm not sure to who yet. I've heard rumblings of KTM, but I'm not 100% yet. But that's
Kawasaki.
Kawasaki will be AC and Anderson again, and possibly Faulkner at some point.
On a 450.
Faulkner's contract is written that he has to have an opportunity to ride a Kawasaki 450 before he can be let go.
Cool. That's
which we're really surprised they didn't stick him on a 450 for outdoors this year to just get that gone and get him off that team. So that's super interesting that that's happening too. We're not really sure where that's going. But basically,
maybe a Rock Tickle Pro Circuit 450.
Yeah, but basically Dylan's been floating around that like, yo, I don't have anything, so I'm just gonna retire after this year. And then from what I'm hearing, like the talk of the wives, like the legit in crowd, wives there with all of them. It's like, no, that's like a real thing. That's not like a joke. Like that's like a real thing of like if he doesn't get a deal that he finds substantial enough, he's done. Now, the big problem I've heard with him is that he won that title. So you know how it is with contracts. When you win the title, you're automatically bumped up because a lot of the contracts are written like, oh, like say I'm making, $400K this year. If I win this title, next year I automatically get $800.
Base.
Yeah. So his base skyrocketed there in 21. So now it's a fucking problem for him.
Husky 450s. Just Malcolm?
Craig's on there for next year too.
Oh, yeah.
And they're only going 2.
I like Kristen Craig.
So, yeah, but we forget about him because he got hurt, and now he's had complications, so he hasn't been able to come back and ride.
Yeah.
So, AP goes 7.3 for 5th overall.
Pretty good ride.
He was feisty that second moto, got a good start, and ran up front there, so that was okay. I mean, this is just where I see Aaron slotting in, is like just in the top 5 here as far as what's going on right now. We'll see beyond that.
He has more in the tank. I think he has more to give. I just don't think that wasn't his opportunity.
That KTM fucking blows.
Think so?
100%.
I think that he has a tough time on that California dirt.
You didn't watch the show where we talked about the Cooper Webb thing. So the way this has worked here is Cooper Webb came in and this year and basically told him, I don't want to run the cone valve Worx suspension stuff. And KTM said, fine, no problem. Develop your own suspension, bring it in. So he was running stock suspension stuff with, improved internals and everything. Well, then what happened is, because they've been struggling with that so much, Plessinger came up and said, I want to run that. I want to bring my own stuff too. And all of a sudden KTM went, whoa, 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 whoa. We can't do this. So when they said, whoa, 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 we can't do this, they came out, they took Webb's suspension off his bike. And that was the week right before Redbud where Webb was like, fuck you, I'm not going to ride.
Wow.
Then that's why he didn't ride. Had nothing like, okay, maybe he crashed.
Yeah, maybe.
But that's very questionable at this point. I don't have an inside person that's told me he actually saw him crash. But what I do have an inside person tell me is that they came in and took the suspension that he'd been developing. Because number one, they got to stop the bleeding with that. Otherwise, everybody's going to want to do their own thing. Number two, the cone valve side of things is a huge moneymaker for him. So if you've got your top guys out there not riding cone valves because they fucking suck with this bike, that's it. Game over. And there are multiple privateers I know who are riding the new model KTM that do not like it. I mean, really don't like it. And I'm not going to blow them out here.
Yep.
I will tell you off the air about some things that have happened, but they really don't fucking like it. That new KTM, there's something that's not gelling with it. The Euro guys don't like it either. They're struggling over there too. So anyway, so AP 7.3, I think that's fine. he's got a deal for next year with them, so he's cool.
I think he's a good fit there.
For right now. I heard they made him a pretty good offer to go ride GNCCs.
Really?
Yeah. They don't really want him on the moto side anymore. They want to put him over in the G. Think about the bravado he carries. He's do it for Dale, fucking mullet, cowboy hat, all that stuff.
I have a hard time seeing the business end of GNCCs because I'm not involved with it, but it seems like it would be a much smaller market.
Have you been to one?
No.
There's 4,000 people a weekend that show up to ride those.
Oh.
4,000.
National though?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because all of them run at the same time. It's just the pro classes take off first.
Brutal.
So you go and pay the same amount you do on a moto weekend, and you ride for 3 fucking hours. That starts in the morning, and you're done by fucking 12. As opposed to like a moto, I got to go pay the same amount. I ride 8 fucking laps, 12 laps, whatever the fuck it is, and I got to be there all damn day to sit around to wait for my motos. So yeah, so that's what it is. It's like the turnout is incredible there. Like you think a national weekend at Redbud's busy, go to a GNCC. I haven't personally been to one. I'm just hearing what people are telling me, and I'm like, no.
I've been to rally races and stuff, but not a GNCC. Rally races are interesting, like the one up in Atlanta, Michigan.
Yeah.
I went to the snow rally one time up there with some other former motocross pros, Jake and Dane Marsack. Anyways, so we went up there, and it's in the middle of winter, and it's just like you go on the side of this fucking dirt road and start a bonfire and watch them fly by sideways. It's super cool.
It seems sketchy to me.
Well, there's just people in the woods everywhere, right?
Yeah.
It's not like you're going to Redbud and you got to stay behind a stupid fence and all that stuff. Like, you can literally just walk on the track and get hit.
Yeah.
People do it all the time, apparently.
Scary.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, AC goes 5.7 for 6th, and he's struggling with the arm. That's all.
He talked about on his Instagram how he's frustrated, but boy, I'm proud of the guy, honestly.
I mean, dude, it's great for a guy that's riding with one fucking arm. I'll be interested to see once we get through the season here, and he goes back and gets another round of stem cells, how that looks.
All I hear is how great stem cell stuff is. But
well, he had it done, but the problem is that you're supposed to have it. It takes I don't know how many weeks, and he just had it done on like an off weekend, so it didn't really get time to like take. So from what he said on his podcast, once the season's over, he had him take a whole bunch out because, of course, you know they shove a needle that's as long as your leg up your ass to take stem cells out of wherever, right?
I didn't really take it out of you.
Yeah. And then so anyway, so he said they've cryogenically frozen extras.
Wow.
And so he'll go back and get a couple of more treatments of it in the off season here before he starts riding for 24.
I'll need to watch his podcast thing he just started because I didn't know about that, but I did know about his ayahuasca experience. A little bit about that.
He hasn't talked about that yet.
I hope I didn't just blow his ass out because
no, everybody
it's very,
knows
very
it, but he doesn't want to talk about it yet.
Kind of taboo, right?
Yeah. So Marchbanks goes 8.6 for 7th. I'm super interested to see if he makes it into these SMX rounds on the 450.
Oh yeah,
because he might.
He and Ty look great on the 450s. I got to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm. And
they don't have the up front speed.
Yeah,
they have the like right there speed.
Speaking of that, Ty Masterpool goes 6.8 for 8th. They were talking on the broadcast about the training regimen stuff that they do there because his parents are both, world-class snowboarders, skiers. His dad is a trainer for Team USA or something, isn't he? Is that what they said?
Masterpool?
Yeah, with skiing or snowboarding or something.
Cool.
And they were talking about how they train at their facility or whatever, but they do it in such a way I don't remember what the term was they used.
That's very
But it was
interesting.
super interesting, yeah. So
it's cool to think about. So even on the way here, I was really thinking about. So like, it's been a long time since I raced anything high end at all, and I was training my absolute ass off back then, 2 days plus practice, and I wasn't anywhere near where these guys are. Well, fast forward to today, I play semi pro hockey out of Detroit, and I've been doing off season training to play next season, and the training is totally fucking different. It's not even close.
Yeah.
And it's all a lot of heavy weights and stuff. And I barely even do cardio. I skate a lot, which is cardio, but it's totally different. So you think about the different discipline trainers that the Masterpool family must be enlightened with. Like if you just come from moto trainers only, like we have some real good ones, like our friend Rob Beams here. But to think about how different it must be, because you can do.
I'd be super interested to talk to I'll call him just Mr. Masterpool, Ty's dad there, about what they're actually doing. Because Coach Rob has a bunch of insights too, because he was Olympic triathlete status or whatever there for a while, so he learned a lot of stuff. Like for example, everybody's freaking out because every time they see Dylan Ferrandis on the podium this year, he's drinking a mini Coke.
Yeah, which
right?
is interesting to see, but that's
but
Coach
that's
Rob's right
Coach
there.
Rob's thing. Like literally, when I took his class, he was like, "Yeah, so you need to drink this because there is literally stuff in it, whatever it is. I don't remember exactly what he said, but it will refuel you between motos there or help with your recovery super well."
It's the cocaine in there, right?
Well, yeah, and like it's funny because the way he picked that up was at the USA Olympic training facility, and he went in there and he got done training one day, and they were like, "Where's your Coke?"
Yeah.
And he laughed because he was like, "I haven't had a soda in however many years," and they're like, "You're an idiot."
Yeah.
And it's like these people don't understand that like the sugars and stuff in that, as terrible as the rest of it is for you, and trust me, I know I've deep dove into all the different food things that are terrible for you, and that's horrible. It can eat through shit, but like the recovery it helps with, because like I will drink one every single day after I train moto. Like I won't drink it on normal training, but like moto day training, I will drink. I put a mini can in the fridge a couple hours before. By the time I'm done, it's cool, and I'm drinking that when I'm done to help me recover, and it works.
Yeah.
So I would be super interested to talk to them about some of the inside scoop stuff they have going on for like training recovery, because they train in Texas. Like the other day they said they were training, it was like 114 degrees.
Yeah, they got a facility there.
Yeah.
What do they call it? His
956, yeah.
Which is cool. I remember the whole thing happening with his brother.
Yeah.
That was terrible. But you know, it's interesting to say about Coke, because the only time I have Coca-Cola nowadays is when there's something else in there that makes it just about flammable.
Like we are right now.
Yeah, a little bit in there
100%.
right now.
All right. So Phil Nicoletti goes 11-9 for 9th. It's a good day for Phil.
Yeah, good job, Bill.
I mean, it's Phil, man. This is where I expect.
No
him to be.
disrespect. I'm glad that he's keeping going with his career, but I'm kind of just like, okay.
Dude, he's 34 years old riding. He's a hero to all of us
Yeah,
at this
my
point.
age.
Yeah, a hero to all of us at this age. So
That's wild.
that's cool. Colt Nichols comes back on the Kawasaki 450 SR
Cool.
for he goes 10-10 for 10th. I thought that was
I didn't see him top 10ing.
No, I didn't either. I in fact I was talking to Kev before the weekend. I'm like, dude, like I don't know, like you can probably beat Nichols, because Nichols hasn't raced outdoors in several years now, and he wasn't really an outdoor guy per se. So I thought that was a really good ride for him. Freddie Noren goes 9-11 for 11th.
Pretty good.
He's probably not happy. He probably feels like he should be farther up than that, but whatever.
I mean, maybe, but in my eyes, like Freddie's good. He's not that.
I don't think
good.
he's
That's pretty
gelling.
good
I don't
finish.
think he's gelling with that Suzuki super well, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. Jose Butron goes 12-13 for 12th. Okay. Chiz goes 17-12 for 13th. That's because Chiz shows up anywhere there's a race any weekend, and we'll race it. Shane shows up for second weekend in a row on his bone stock blue crew there and goes 15-14 for 14th.
It's okay. I love Shane as a person, but that's an okay finish.
Yeah, Grant Harlan, a little weird finish for him here, 14-15 for 15th. He's been a lot better this year, so maybe it was just Washougal. We'll have to keep track of that going forward. Romain Pope goes 16-18 for 16th. Jed Beaton shows up from Australia on a HRC Honda
Jed Beaton.
that he was testing for and completely fucked my fantasy into oblivion the second moto, too. He goes 13-37 for 17th. Okay. Max Miller goes 19-16 for 18th. Josh Hill comes out of the woodwork here in the Great Northwest
Home track.
to go 26-17 for 19th. And Anton Gohl from Sweden goes 20-19 for 20th. Looks like Carson Brown is the highest finishing two-stroke as far as I know. He goes 18-21 for 21st, so congratulations to him. And let's see here. Kev goes 28-26 on the Redbull KTM two-stroke.
Shout out
for
to
26.
number 80 right there. Shout out.
Yep. Kessler goes 30-35 for 33rd overall. And that's it for really honorable mentions there. Anything else you want to talk 450-wise? Were you just on your phone?
Well, here's the thing. So we lost a local Michigan racer a couple days back, Mr. Kyle Rothgood. And
I don't know who that is.
Well, he's a long ways before your time. Just one of them things. In this way of living, a lot of people get hurt. A lot of people pass away, and for whatever reason, I'm 34, and the number of people that I've watched get buried in my lifetime is hard to even believe sometimes.
Is it more or less than the Clintons?
Well, the Clintons don't watch. The Clintons do this. Didn't see nothing, but it's real disheartening how many people we lose. And some of them are real unnecessary, and other ones it's just God's timing or whatever. And I just wanted to give them a shout out because it's hard to watch it all the time. You know what I mean? This week we lost 2 or 3 people, so like, man, it's tough. But
Yep.
Shout out.
Cool. All right, so that's been your 450 race recap, brought to you by our friends at Gutterworks. Always well hung, just like Justin Barcha. Make sure to check them out. Link in the description down below. Let's cover.
How do you have that inside information?
You didn't see this last year?
I know nothing about this.
So Justin Barcha wears super tight pants, right? And there are pictures zoomed in, and you can see a big old unit, bro, just hanging there in them bitches, dude. Cole's all about it. Like, Cole comes in, and he's got dick pics on deck of, like, every fucking dude that wore tight pants at the races that weekend. It's a very Cole thing to do. Okay, let's cover a couple of these kind of off-topic subjects here. Hold on.
Here's a topic. So my theme for today, as we kind of touched on with Kevin Moranz's interview, we're really on top of my mind lately, especially today, is like legacy and purpose. Right?
Okay.
So for me, like growing up, I grew up on a little farm, and I started working at my grandparents' shop at 7. And it's like you try not to even get noticed; you just want to be there helping.
Yeah.
And then when you're racing, it's like all about what you can do. Mm-hmm. And then you start working for teams, and it's like, what can I do for the team? And it's a little bit bigger than you. And then now you and I are business guys, and like both have guys on payroll.
Yeah.
And it's like it's about your leadership and your kind of, it's a bigger legacy. It's a bigger, you're doing more than just working for yourself and what you can do for your own inside stuff.
Yep.
And like you got the family stuff going on, so your legacy and your purpose is much bigger now. And the transition of that in my own life is very interesting. So I left a funeral earlier today from kind of a distant family thing, and to think about that, and to think about how all this stuff changes as you grow, and where guys like Kevin Moranz and these racers are in that transition in their life. It's very interesting to think about, and how it makes you a different racer too, because you apply yourself differently.
Yep.
If you want to be a junkyard dog, and this is another interesting thing I didn't think about. If you're a Cooper Webb and you're a junkyard dog racer, and that's what makes you good. If you're Josh Lichtel and you're fast because you hang it the fuck out, not because you're better, just because you're a wild man fast.
Yeah.
You see a lot of those guys when they have the wife and kids at the house, in not just racing. Racing's a good example. That's what we're here talking about. But also like hockey. Anytime there's a guy that's in a contract year, or they have a newborn child, it totally changes the way their season goes. And I kind of look at that not just a sport now. I'm looking at it across all of life, and it's like, and it's fresh in my mind because I just came from another memorial thing today. But yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
That's kind of my theme today, though.
It happens, man. That kind of life stuff like that will jump up and slap you in the face, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Shit. So, all right. So let's do, I want to do the TLR tinfoil hat here. And again, this is even a step beyond what my normal TLR tinfoil hat is here.
I should have brought my hat. I didn't know I needed it today.
So I got sent this here. So this is the quote, and tell me what you think about this, okay? This was written online. I have no idea what the name is. This was just screenshot and sent to me. At this point, how much is Honda paying Sexton to keep tipping over every weekend so Jet will get a perfect season? You can't tell me this is the same guy that raced ET3 last year to the limits. It's one thing to have a few tip overs, but when it's an every moto occurrence while gaining on Jet, I'm not buying it. We know Chase will be on a different team next year, and he's too talented to keep throwing races away. Just my thoughts. TLR tinfoil hat.
That sounds like a...
I don't think that's the case here. It is interesting. I had another guy comment on a YouTube video of ours, and he did point out he's gone back and looked at lap times and stuff, and Sexton is slower this year than he was last year, which is interesting, especially considering he still has a rabbit to chase in Jet. But
he does, but he's out of the points, so it's the same.
Yeah,
because last year he was doing it out of hunger.
He's out of the points, and he won a Supercross title. Yeah. And he may not have a huge Supercross hangover, but there's still that $1 million check in the bank
every single time.
So, yeah. So I don't know, man. There's not a whole bunch of guys that have gone out. Like, the list is a lot shorter of guys who have won a premier Supercross title and backed it right up with a premier outdoor title.
Ricky Carmichael, Ryan Villopoto, maybe Dungey. That's it.
Dungey did it, yeah.
I think that the tinfoil hat of them paying him to do it's the dumbest thing I ever heard. But I think there's definitely something to it. Like he's not.
It's the bike. Like, he's not pumped on that bike, and they've done a bunch of testing and tried to make it better. It's been since Supercross.
Could be the man too, though, or both.
Yeah. So
it ain't fucking Lars Lindstrom cutting him a check.
I'm here to tell you, I don't think it gets better next year on that KTM. Because Honda's willing to do a lot more at this point in Honda's career here than what KTM's going to move. KTM's going to tell you, quit tipping over. And they're going to blame it on you. Honda right now is, or at least through Supercross, and maybe into right now too, they're going to test and change triple clamps and fork settings and all that kind of stuff. KTM's not going to do that.
I have a hard time believing that because Roger DeCoster and Ian Harrison are like the two best
KTM,
the most prestigious development guys in the history of our sport.
Yeah,
so
but
I think that they wouldn't do
but
that.
here's the problem: they go in with statistics and numbers off a computer, not how the guys are riding, and they go, "This is the setup that should work," and then you can tweak it a little bit here and there. They're not going in going, "Oh, our triple clamps are not right for your style of riding." No, they make that a you problem. You fix yourself. So. I don't know. It's interesting, but that's your TLR tinfoil hat. Comment down below with what you think. I'm not sorry. I go on a lot of out there tinfoil hats. I'm not in it.
I thought we were talking about tinfoil hat like this weird Canadian wildfire smoke we had in Michigan.
No, we're not talking about that. We're not talking about that. We're moving on. We are moving on. We are moving on. Do you? Okay. I'll give you a choice. We have 3 more, so we're going to do 2 here, and then we'll do 2 after we come back from commercial. Or we're going to do 1 more, and then we'll do 2 after we come back from commercial. So do you want to talk Holster Co. Reload Rant? Do you want to talk the Tomac injury update, or do you want to talk about Prado shitting his pants during the race last week?
Not Prado, because I think that he's getting dragged by the media about that. I don't like that.
What do you mean?
Holster Co.
No. Now we're going to talk about Prado because you
like Racer X posts some things about hey, shit your pants and stuff, and like that's absolutely crazy.
He brought it up.
I mean, that may be true. But
in the press conference, he literally asked Fevra, "Hey man, could you smell it because I shit my pants before you passed me?"
It might be true, but if whatever
he had a he had a stomach bug. That's what it was. Like it wasn't like he just shit his pants like a normal person.
I mean,
he had a stomach bug.
Let me tell you, if fucking if I'm a racer and I have that happen and some French magazine for dirt biking throws me under the bus, I'm calling Trump, motherfucker, send the nukes. We're taking France down if they do that. I'm telling you right now. Like that's
But I'm telling you, he like if it would have just been somebody calling it out, I'd have been like, dude, that's not fucking cool. Like that's an embarrassing thing to happen. But he was like, bro, I shit my pants. Yeah. He said it in an interview. He said it to Prado. He said it to Fevra. Like he was making a joke of it. And again, it's because he didn't really like it. It wasn't like he was just like, hey, secret weapon. I'm going to shit my pants so it smells bad so he can't do it. No, it was like he had a stomach bug. He was fucked up all weekend. He was trying to hold it in the whole moto. And shit happens.
Maybe he don't care, but to me, I'm a big respect guy.
Yeah.
That's tough.
So, all right. So we're going to take another quick little break here. And, oh, wait, hold on. I got one more thing.
Tell me it's another tinfoil hat, a good one.
No. Never mind.
We should do just a whole show about tinfoil hat. That'd be great. We'd have to call it something else because you'd be canceled the fucking first day.
Yeah, so so we're going to take a break here. We'll come back. We're going to wrap up 250s. I'll do my Holster Co. Reload Rant, and we'll talk Tomac injury update. So we'll be right back. All right, welcome back, everybody. Okay, before we jump into the 250 race recap here.
Let's shake it out.
Let's shake it out. All right, so Tomac injury update. Tomac posted some pictures the other day or a story or something, doing some squats, doing some one-legged stuff.
Love it.
So he's on the comeback here. The real question is there any chance he shows up for the SMX rounds?
I think so. I don't know where.
You think he does?
I don't know what the time frame is on that stuff, but it's Eli.
I've heard all over the map, man. So I've heard people, it's 6 months, and then I hear a lot of other people. Like I hear normal Joe Schmoes who don't have time to recover and stuff. They're like, oh yeah, I did that. It took me like 4 months. I was fine.
Yeah.
And like he tore it end of April. May, June, July, August, September.
It's pretty close.
I mean, that's 5 months to get to September there.
What's the purse if he comes back and wins all 3? $10 million?
No, he wins $1 million if he wins all 3.
$1 million is a lot of money.
$1 million is a lot of money.
$1 million plus all the other stuff.
Yeah, plus bonuses and whatever. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I'll be interested to see. It's doubtful. It's funny because before he had posted that, somebody was talking in one of the Facebook groups that they'd seen him walking around in Colorado. So they're like, dude, he's walking already. So I was already on like his recovery's coming, and he was at the Alpine Stars gear launch thing or whatever today at Washougal. Not riding, but he was there. So
even if he doesn't come out of retirement, he's gonna be right there. Mm-hmm. He'll be damn close to ready, whether he does or doesn't. He'll be damn close.
Yep. So looking positive there for the old Tomac situation.
You'll love to see it.
All right, and last thing here before we jump into the last race recap, Holster Co. Reload Rant, brought to you by our friends at Holster Co. Got a wonderful new place of business here now. Opens on Monday for things that go bang bang and pew pew. Link in the description below. Discount code. Make sure to use it. Tell them we sent you. Okay.
They're good guys. We like them.
They're awesome. Dude, I'm just like, I was listening to something this week. They were talking about transparency with bikes and salaries and contracts and team moving and all this bullshit like that. And it's like you go to other pro sports, and I know there's sports betting and unions and all this shit like that, but it's like
so is there now in our sport.
It's like you go to baseball, and it's like in baseball, the players find out they're being traded literally on ESPN.
Yeah,
like they don't fucking know until ESPN tells them, oh, by the way, you're being traded and you're not playing for that team tonight. And then all of a sudden somebody walks in and says, hey, you're being traded. We all know because of whatever things like Sexton going to KTM next year. We all know this. Everybody knows this. And then you ask and it's like, oh, I can't really talk about it. Yeah. Why? We all know you're going there. Who gives a shit?
Well,
Honda knows you're going there.
It might be because of the conflict of interest, though. Because, like, for example, if I play for the Detroit Red Wings and I'm UFA at the end of the season,
yeah,
and I know that I'm going to sign with the New York Rangers, and I start talking about fucking New York Rangers in the middle of the season,
yeah,
Detroit's going to be like, see you fucking never, right?
I guess, man. I don't know. Like, to me, it's just like, it's like the salary thing, okay? Nobody talks about salaries because you're going to get blackballed in the industry. Okay,
that part's stupid to me.
If Eli Tomac comes out and says, hey, by the way, I'm going to get paid $1.5 million next year, well, that's great because now we have a bar set for this. But hey, by the way, Eli, Jet's salary is $3 million. So,
actually?
Yeah.
So Ken, when he turned down the Honda, or when that whole stupid thing with Honda happened, it was 5, right?
No, it was $1 million for Supercross only.
Oh.
So, but, which is great. That's a ton of money, okay? But,
is it really?
But well, Ken doesn't have any Supercross titles,
and he's a back nine of his career.
Yeah, where it's like Eli's got a Supercross title, should have just won. Actually, he's got 2. He should have just won another one. So like $1.5 million is fine,
yeah,
but it should have been more because Jet's coming in as the hottest property. Now, granted, that's probably has something to do with managers and all that shit like that of like how he's doing, yeah, and he's coming off of 250 titles and all that kind of shit like that. But still, it's like, okay, if Jet was public that he's getting $3 million, then Tomac can go over here and say, look, I want this much or whatever. Although probably part of the reason he's riding for what he is just because that bike's not changing next year and he knows he's really fucking good at Supercross on it.
I'm really curious because if you got guys like Jet, and Deegan is a great transition in this because those guys bring more value than Eli Tomac brings a ton of value as his corporate job only, being the racer and winning races. Deegan makes, in my eyes, he makes more money for the company when he's not even fucking racing.
100%.
And Jet's a similar thing.
I don't argue with this at all.
So the money part of it,
I really need Justin here to argue with you about this because he's like, Justin's so old. I love the kid, but he's so old school about this. And me and him go back and forth all the time because I'm like, dude, the value you can bring from your social media, the results don't even fucking matter.
Yeah.
Like Dean Wilson doesn't get paid because he gets results because he doesn't. He gets paid and he continues to get factory rides or semi-factory rides, whatever he's on now, where he still gets paid because of his social media presence. Deegan is worth $5 million a year because of his social media presence.
I would argue that's why he went to Star over KTM too.
He went to Star over KTM because of Monster.
Oh.
Because he was tied in with Monster through his amateur career. In order for him to switch, he would have had to go to Red Bull, which was not going to happen. There was no fucking way Monster was going to let him go.
Yeah, no.
I 100% believe... I wish I knew what he was making. It would shock me if his contract's not for $1 million a year.
Deegan's?
Yeah.
Yeah,
As a 250 guy, which is crazy because the highest 250 guys I've heard before this are like $500,000.
As a rookie, too.
Yeah. Like there's just no way with as good as Brian is, everything they bring to the table with everything, that he's not getting $1 million a year salary. There's just no way.
Yeah.
And if he isn't, then that's a huge miss in my opinion by them.
I wonder who his management is, if it's Brian.
No, it's not. I mean, Brian's part of it. I forget who the guy that manages him. Scott Sapovic was talking about it on a podcast I was listening to, but I can't fucking think of the guy's name.
I've been meaning to watch
yeah, but I can't think of the guy's name. Shit.
Shout out to Jace. He does a good
Jace
job.
does an awesome job. He's in the States.
I saw that. He was in the
press conference. Yeah.
I'm hearing. I'm like, oh, you got an Aussie in there.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm trying to get him to come up and ride Bucks.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. So, anyway,
Buck Bash. That's where this all is. That's where Coach Rob came to see us last year. What a great guy.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's my rant. It's just like, dude, we need to be more transparent with this shit. Oh, the bike thing. This was something else that was brought up. Because I think, who were they talking to? Was somebody talking to Chase or something? I think it was. No, maybe it was somebody else. I don't remember. It was somebody really good. And they're like, yeah, I don't really get why we're not so transparent with bikes, because, like, I can't take what Eli says that they've done to their Yamaha and put it on my Honda. Like, it's not going to fucking work. So, like, who the hell gives a shit?
Well, there's an edge you have there. So, like for
what?
example, well, if Kevin Moranz had a secret thing about him getting starts, which is just the rider in that example, but if he had some secret thing.
He does. It's called third gear.
Well, you got to be quiet with that shit.
Why? That's been on TV with fucking Shorty
just
since 2016. I know this.
But that's a competitive edge that he would be giving up, even just to the other orange riders.
Yeah, but if he says, like, oh, we went in and we changed our sag from 106 to 107 or something, that's not going to make a shit bit of difference to fucking a Honda. They're completely different.
True. I agree with that.
So, like, I don't know, man. It's fucking stupid. There should be way more transparency in the industry. It would be way better. I mean, think about Formula One, and we all go to Formula One, but it's like that's just kind of like the cornerstone of motorsports, essentially. Those guys will say whatever about their cars.
Do they say that about salary?
Yeah,
It's kind of public information, right?
It's semi-public.
So the salary thing is going to get more interesting as this continues to grow, because the sport's going to change a lot here, especially with electric bikes, but also with Supercross. So you and I talked earlier in the week about how AJ Catanzaro and the Moto Academy bought GPF, and how they're going to make basically a Supercross Moto Academy out of it, and it's going to be such a growth factor for the Supercross side of.
When do you want to go down there?
Daytona, the week of Daytona.
Oh, okay.
I
You don't want to go before that?
Maybe.
You can rent a bike, so you don't even have to. You can rent a bike and gear. You don't even have to take your gear.
There's a 390 around here somewhere I can ride. It'd be the first time that I ever hit a Supercross triple, but yeah, I think that's going to grow a lot of it, and the media thing is going to continue to grow a lot, because I'm in the dark a lot about that, all the social media stuff and the business of it, but you fucking love that stuff.
He's dumped 4 or 5 videos this week alone on that news.
So
on
just
YouTube.
those guys are going to they're kind of at the cutting edge of it a little bit, and it's going to continue to grow where that's almost normal, right? Well, that being said, you got guys like other YouTube guys like Mr. Beast and all that bullshit. It's like endless money, right? So that is going to really change the sport, because if you think about it, if you're making more money outside of racing, like AJ Catanzaro is a great guy, makes 1,000 times more money on YouTube and that kind of stuff than he did as a racer, because he's better at that and he was a racer, right? So it's that stuff. Like,
he can ride halfway decent.
He's a great example for this, actually.
And that allows him to make content here on top of like the Moto Academy shit that's going on. But
now imagine if you're a GPF guy or Moto Academy, I don't know if they're going to call it whatever they're going to call it, but if you're imagine you're a young super mini rider that's going to go there and learn Supercross. Well, you're not just going there to learn Supercross from AJ and those guys. You're going there and you're going to see how he does media, and you're going to do all these things, and AJ is smart dude. Like he ain't no dummy. So
no.
like you're going to learn a lot of things. And that now the change with Jet and Deegan are a great example for this, but those kind of changing the way that this pays out and where it almost makes your team less relevant because it's more about winning on that bike than getting paid.
Yeah.
That changes this a lot. Mm-hmm. And I still think that it'd be cool to have like the manufacturers thing where they're on, like World Supercross kind of changes stuff a lot where you kind of you have X number of teams and they're allowed so many guys. And I think that would be really interesting to see.
Privatized teams, much like the NASCAR model went to. It's not Chevy anymore. It's Hendrick Racing.
Interesting.
You know, shit like that. So I really think there needs to be a push in that direction. And I think you're absolutely right with like the social media side of things is really, really going to start moving that needle. Let me ask you this, because you've been around this longer than I have. Is it still win on Sunday, buy on Monday? Do you believe that's how it works?
This is a great question. Because I think that Eli Tomac really made that happen for every brand he's ever been on. And I think that it was prevalent in like James, Ricky, Dungey, like the top guys, Villapoto. I think it's
prior
really
to this,
thing.
yes. But do you think that's changing right now?
I think Honda is doing pretty sweet because of the Lawrence brothers, but I don't know that it's as big as it was before. Before, like you got Rick Johnson winning, and that you saw it in the cycle news, and you're like, I got to get that fucking bike.
Yeah.
Well, now it's like everybody's good. Everybody is in your face. It's all immediate. Like, it's hard to say. I do really like that the sport is continuing to grow, and we talk about the electric bikes here and now, and I've never really ridden a competitive one. They're starting to come around, but that's going to really change it a lot, too. A lot.
I saw a place you can buy a Stark Varg for $50,000. Guy's got his already.
Wow.
But yet, there's no way that we could bring in a brand new 450 and build it into a factory edition one in here and sell it for $30K. Like
well,
that's
true.
not.
We could build it, but it wouldn't be worth $30K. It'd be a used bike with a bunch of parts on it.
Well, no, I'm talking about a brand new one off the showroom floor. You don't even ride it.
You
just fucking literally like boom, and you're put the parts on it.
Yeah.
Maybe you shake it out for 10 minutes or something, but that's it.
You know something I thought about earlier is that I'm at a not a funeral, but like a memorial thing right before I got here, and I hear about fucking Surons every day, and it's never from motocrossers.
I've heard they're fun to ride.
I've never. Someone talks to me about it every day. A lot of people don't even know I used to be a racer and this stuff, and it's never motocrossers that are talking about it. It's people who live in the city, and it's gonna totally change our sport.
I have a buddy whose kids, they have a couple of them, and he said, dude, he's like, it's insane because he's like, you can go anywhere on them, and it doesn't make a sound. Now, I've looked at them. They're more than I want to pay at this point for that. I'm just not that into it.
I'm all the way out on it right now, but they're going to be better real soon.
But I will say that some of them where they've put like basically the full moto suspension, so they've got the dark gold forks, and they've got the moto bars and the front fender, and it essentially looks like a dirt bike. I'm like, well, that's sweet. Now, granted, I've kind of done some research and I've talked to some people, and it's like, okay, yeah, you can do that. That's like $6,000 that you've got sitting there into an electric bike that like I'm not racing anywhere or anything.
Yeah.
But that is the kind of stuff that it's like, okay, well.
Okay, so I'm not in the mix on the production side of things and what they're trying to do, but after I retired from racing, you may know I worked at Chrysler headquarters for 8 years, and kind of in the mix on how this stuff is headed, right? And especially with the government and World Economic Forum trying to push that bullshit. Anyways.
Oh boy!
The thing about the electric bikes, there's three things I really want to touch on. The first one is the batteries, the next generation batteries. Like right now, they're big, they're dangerous, they're a lot of things.
Yeah, start on fire.
They come from somebody that lives in a mud hut. The next generation of batteries, there's a couple different ones they're working on. Is going to be way smaller, way more powerful, and it's going to change it all automatically because it's going to be like a mountain bike that's got 450 power, more than that even. And it's instant power, right? So now it's not all this big, heavy-ass bike, and you're trying not to die and have it pack you into the ground and all that stuff. But also, so we are Michigan men. I live on the east side by Detroit. I'm a Detroit kind of style guy. He's on the west side here. We used to have indoor tracks come in and out every year. There's been really good ones on the east side, and it's really difficult because heating it, and air. And when you pump all the air out to get the exhaust out, all the heat goes out too. So you're spending an absolute shit ton of money to operate. Well, if you got a bunch of electric bikes, you don't have to heat it. You heat it. It's just regular building. You don't have to get all the fumes out, which is awesome. You don't have any of the fuels inside you got to deal with because you got to have like special spots you can put fuel and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And when it comes to like prepping and watering the track, you're not pushing all the air through to dry it out. And there's a ton of things that solves all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really easy to find a 10,000 square foot building in Detroit for pretty inexpensively and put a track in there. So this could really change a lot and make it like where you're going to cart or a pole position kind of go-kart thing, and it's just
How many
supercross.
years do you think we got before we're like basically full electric outside of, we'll call it vintage races?
I think full electric. It's hard for me to say, but I think that there will be another. It'll have its own class, kind of like Moto GP, Moto E, or whatever the hell they call it.
Yeah.
Like that's still kind of like kind of like us. But I think that it'll be where it's on its own class. soon.
Yeah. The
Like, I
interesting
would say 2, maybe 3 years.
See, the interesting thing about that though is, so Stark wants to come in and race right now.
Yeah.
They want to come in and they want to race, and they don't want to race. They don't want to race 250 class. They want to come race 450 class. Okay, and all the sanctioning bodies everywhere, the FIM and the MXGP, the AMA over here and MX Pro Sports, and everybody's like, no, you're not racing.
Well, here's the problem.
So that's super weird to me.
Electric bikes are the genie.
Yeah.
Once we let the genie out of the bottle, it's never fucking going back in.
I think
gas is dead when we let the genie out of the bottle.
I think once you see the Kawasaki and the Honda stuff, then we're screwed. Because like we've already seen the Honda Prototype 1.
Yeah.
We saw that in like 2019, and I went, ooh, okay.
Yeah.
As soon as I see that in real life, like I'm gonna have that.
Here's something kind of interesting on the tip of my tongue with this is that we talked a couple times about the legacy and the purpose in this show so far. Now, Kevin Moranz, our little buddy, was just in the two-stroke hunt for Washougal. His fucking grandkids are going to go look back and say, Uncle Kev raced a two-stroke at Washougal?
Yep.
And they're going to go, ying, 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 on their little electric bike that's not even going to make that fucking sound, whatever the chain moving around makes, right? Even if you're...
Sound like an RC car. Whew!
Yeah, right.
Whew! Clack, clack.
And they're going to think, man, my Uncle Kev, or my Grandpa Kev, was racing gas bikes and all this stuff and making all this noise and everything else.
Yep.
And, it's gonna be
super weird when we go to a Supercross that's all electric.
I'm not excited about it. I mean, I'm excited about like for the whole reason that I retired and I'm still retired is because I'm sick of ambulance rides. But if it's a mountain bike type bike and it's less of a machine like a tractor, right? Maybe it's a lot safer. It's hard to say that.
I don't know. I mean, so I'm excited for a few things with it here. So number one, I'll just say that I don't think that in any future here really soon we're going to see everything electric. And I don't agree with you. I think we're more 5 to 10 year range before we see it, because
Before they take over, before they have their own class.
before they take over, I think.
Okay, I don't know about taking over.
I don't know that they're... I'm not sure how this is going to work. Like I said, it's weird that the sanctioning bodies won't let them run. And just like, you go to Loretta's, you can't race the SX E5s or whatever against the regular gas-powered ones. They have their own class.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that's all going to work. But anyway, but I am excited for the fact of, I do love, because I'm a lazy fuck, not having to worry about gas, worry about oil, worry about any of that shit. Like, just rock
Air
up.
filters, no thanks.
Yeah, no air filters. Like, just rock up, fucking bike's charged, flip the switch, and I go ride.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pumped on that.
Until you got a problem.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, well, but it's going to be so modular.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have a
Take
battery,
this- yeah.
you're going to have a speed controller that's all going to have plugs, and you're going to have a motor.
So this
And
is
that's
one
it.
thing I really do like about this is that, so I'm among a laundry list of everything else. I'm a ASE certified automotive technician, and it went from being like, most of the time it's broken right now because I drive it like the General Lee, but I drive a 55 Chevy, as you know, a pickup truck a lot, and everything is analog.
Yeah.
Everything. There's not, the radio is the only thing that's, and the only reason that it's fucking even electric at all is because I have Bluetooth hooked up to it. 'Cause
Yeah.
I drive it all over everywhere, but it's such a beauty in that, but fixing it is not a beauty. Like, it's good because I'm experienced, but most people that service cars now, they plug the computer in and it tells them what they need to know. Or it tells them a bunch of things that they can diagnose it then,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, like, with an electric bike, you probably don't have to plug it in. You probably just fucking Bluetooth on your phone or on the bar pad in the future.
Like I said, and all that's going to be awesome, and the changing major stuff on it. Oh, my motor went bad. Okay, cool. 2 bolts, boom, boom, boom. You know, because I've done remote control cars plenty of times. So like that, I look forward to that because that's all going to be super simple and easy.
Super expensive.
Yeah, but it'll come down. It's the same thing. So like in the next 5 to 10 years, as it all comes out, it's gonna be super expensive.
Yeah.
Much like the Stark right now is like however much, 16, 18 grand, brand new, whatever. But then as we progress, it'll get cheaper.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna get like a base model ready to run version.
Yeah, like my Milwaukee
Yeah,
tools, right?
that's gonna be like $5 grand. And then you're gonna have like the upgraded version that fucking is just insane. That's gonna be 20 grand or something, you know. So I don't know, man. It's super interesting. I'm interested to see where it goes.
As a businessman, I really look about this because I still think they're kind of gay, but I love the.
No boy,
the
we're really
idea.
getting canceled here.
I don't care. Whatever. I got nothing.
This
Whatever.
show's fucked since Jump Street anyway, so it's fine.
Well, here's the thing. So, like, as a businessman, we're both businessmen. I think a lot about this electric stuff. And if you're Don Emler or you're Mitch Payton and you started
Yeah.
brazing pipes, and next thing you know, you're the pipe guy 40, 50 years later.
Yeah.
I've really been thinking about getting in electrics, not about getting into surrounds, maybe, and not necessarily about like selling Teslas, although we both surface on Teslas some, like wheels and stuff. I'm really thinking about doing like retrofit kits for, like, for example, for my 55. Actually, I have a 57 Chevy post car, 57, like big old boat truck car. It's a rolling chassis that I would love to put, although I have a powertrain for it now, I would love to put an electric powertrain in it. And I've really been thinking about doing business centered around like electric retrofit cars because two things. One, everybody's going to want one because they're going to be fast as absolute fuck. And they're quiet, which is cool in some ways. Like, I think it's gay, but it's also cool. I like a big block rumble. I like to go up to the stoplight and it's like, blah, 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 blah. But, but the thing is that right now, our wonderful Biden administration, our resident Biden, they're forking over money hand over foot for solar, for electric vehicles, for all this stuff. Well, businessman to businessman, that government money is great. If they crash this bitch, the government's going to still be spending more money than they are right now, right? So, like, I'm kind of like, and I already kind of have. I'm really thinking something along the lines of like Gray Ghost or something Ghost, right, for the brand name. But all right, I just kind of let the cat out of the bag. But I've been really thinking about this for at least a year now, and I think that there's quite a possibility. And let's just say I got into that, and I was the first guy around.
Yeah.
And I figured out how to make them more the performance better. Like where I live I live right by Detroit. All my neighbors are all kind of high end GM and all that development guys, and I kind of have an in on how to make these things work better. So I'm kind of like, man, should I do it? I think that they're lame, but I think that they're going to be awesome too.
Yeah.
So anyways, businessman to camera. I think that it's something I'm really considering. And there's something like the Gray Ghost, something like real sleek, like sweeping in, but will absolutely tear your ass up.
Yeah.
Is kind of the branding I'm going for, and we'll see.
Well, have you seen, I mean, you probably haven't. There's a guy I follow on, and I'm just thinking about this because me and my other buddy were talking about Groms and Grom builds. In fact, I got on to buy a bunch of parts for my Grom last night and then realized that the parts have skyrocketed on them. And then I didn't have a full direction of the build exactly how I wanted to go. So I was like, okay, pause. Like, let's not spend hundreds of dollars that we don't need to on dumb shit.
Yeah.
But anyway, there's one guy I follow who builds them. He just built a electric one where he took a Tesla motor and put it in there.
Whoa.
The fucking thing screams, dude. It's for sale. It's like $20,000.
Tesla motor?
Yeah.
I've been watching guys that are doing like 110s that go electric, and they look like a haul ass, but like, that's
it does. Trust me, it does. So, I don't know. It's the future. It's interesting. We'll see where it goes.
The Gray Ghost idea came because my ex chick I was gonna build that electric 57 Chevy, and I was gonna do it like primer gray, and I was gonna do matte, not like primer looking, but like where you see through it and you see like a metallic depth, but it was real flat looking. I was all about it, and now I'm like, chick is gone, and the car's still there. Maybe we'll make that the brand instead, right? Yeah.
So, all right, let's get this show wrapped up here. Let's do 250 race recap brought to you by our friends at Adept Creative Co. Check them out for all your graphics needs. 450 over there's got them on it.
Looks gorgeous too. I've been looking at it the whole time.
Yep.
The stars are gorgeous.
Yep. Well, that one's going.
If y'all didn't understand,
that one's going away soon.
All American, baby.
That one's going away soon.
I've been telling Travis to get rid of this 450 for 5 fucking years. No, I'm keeping it forever. And now let's
just move past it. I have a bunch of I have 15 videos I have to shoot with it here, and then it's going away. 16, 17 actually now because I came up with a couple other ones. Huh?
We don't have to waffle it.
We could do that too.
I would love to do that stuff.
we'll talk about that later.
right.
It's an interesting thing. So, all right. So, jumping right in here, 250 race recap again, brought to you by our friends at Adept Creative Co. Linked in the description down below. And we're going to start right off here, as everybody knows, with our Isaac Nelson Designs Deegan Danger Zone here. Because Deegan goes 1-1, and holy shit. That was impressive.
Well, not only was the ride impressive, but those Yamahas look so awesome.
Oh,
so
bro.
awesome. And they look so much cooler with the purple rims because the Euro guys had black rims, and it's like, yeah, it's okay. But when you see the purple rims, you're like, fuck yeah. They need the purple Renthols, too.
I was surprised they didn't have those. I'll tell you what. If I end up keeping mine next year, I'm like, I might have to have those purple wheels.
The chicks would like it.
I mean, dude, it's sweet. Did you notice they had gold hubs, too? It was
I did.
purple wheels,
yeah, I did.
gold hubs.
That's cool.
Dude, and the whole look, I was just like, oh, man, even down to the Thor gear
Yeah.
was sick, too. And I'm
Bradshaw.
like, oof.
Very cool.
And
look.
our friends at Adept Creative Co. actually make a retro kit similar to that, which is sick looking also, which is why I put the purple bars on, because that's coming soon, too. And I have the white plastics already.
Nice.
So I'm basically there.
If only we could. Well, maybe we can get the purple rims. I don't know if they offer it through Excel. Travis and I both own coating shops. Neither of us do
I need like
anodizing.
$1,500 probably to buy a set of wheels like that, which is like a lot. I'm not sure I want to spend on that bike because I'm just not sure what my future is at this point with it.
Yeah.
But anyway, but it was sick. But back to Deegan, dude. Okay, so all you who jumped down my fucking throat here after yesterday, what I said the week
great.
before was not inaccurate. He has struggled the last 2 weeks. They brought it up on the broadcast time and time again, and everybody's going to jump on here and be like, oh, you're a hater, and oh, you're this, and oh, you're that. I said he struggled. The last 2 weeks haven't been good. Everybody knows the last 2 weeks have not been what he's been doing. Now, what he did yesterday, fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. All of a sudden, we thought, after watching that 20-point swing last week between him and Hunter, where he came in with the points lead, like a 4-point lead, and left 13 down, now all of a sudden he's back to like 3.
Back, yeah.
So it's like, holy crap. He's right in this going into the last. I mean, you're looking at basically even up for a 3-race sprint here. This could be real interesting.
I think Hunter Lawrence, which I love the guy, I think he's more fragile.
Hunter's awesome.
I think he's more fragile than Deegan is. I think Deegan is less consistently fast, and I think that Hunter is really the guy.
Yeah.
But I think he's got a little bit of a little kink in the armor. You know what I mean?
We can just talk about Hunter too, as long as we're right here. So Hunter goes 2-4 for third.
Yeah.
And that fourth in the second moto, he was it was bad starts all day. That's what got him there. And then he's pushing in that second moto to try to make up time there to catch up.
When he and Deegan were battling, it was pretty good.
And then he goes down. Yeah, but I don't know, man. This is one of those things where you just kind of scratch your head and you're like, man, I'm just not sure. Like, he should be the guy.
The thing is that where he went down was that weird slippery thing.
That weird slippery in the trees. James talked about it a lot of like it doesn't dry out. Yep.
It's real tricky.
Yep.
Let me ask you this. I'm on a little tangent here.
Okay.
When you're watching the race from not at the race, for example, when you watched Washougal, what was your situation? Were you hanging out upstairs, drinking a Coke?
So yesterday was a little different than normal. A lot of times I will actually sit down and like watch the races. Although I gotta say, especially this year, the 450 races are so boring that like I fall asleep all the time. Like I have a hard time in the summer. It's because of it being 4 hours,
Saturday.
5 if you count the practice show, which the practice show I have to watch to kind of keep track of stuff for fantasy purposes. Then when you get to the main show, it's like it's so long. And this is one of the things where like I love motocross because it's core, but at the same time, this is why it's failing. Because it needs to adjust to the lack of attention span.
You think it needs to be shorter? I think that it's great that they even gave it the intermission. I think that's great.
It's great. It's great if it's great the way it is, but just know that like the way it is, it will not grow the way it is. Like you're gonna have to make major changes in order to get there. You can leave it core like it is, and it will have a fan base that will stay steady, but it will never grow beyond where it's at. Supercross is willing to make those changes, so that will grow eventually because they'll change up things. Like we've seen it with the Triple Crowns and things like that. But outdoors, if they don't change this, because the 35-minute thing is, or the 30 plus 2, yeah, it's great and it's like an Ironman thing and whatever, but it just isn't holding the attention. And like I said, for me, even as a hardcore fan who's watching to do this podcast, I find myself falling asleep, especially on the ones where Jet wins by 20, 30 seconds. I'm just like, dude, this is boring because no one's battling, and they're not showing the battles.
They don't show the battles.
You're
right?
watching Jet, then you're watching Ty Masterpool ride around by himself. I'm not watching the 30th place dude having a battle to the death. For 30th place or whatever.
It's less good.
Now I will say, like I said, a normal weekend. I'm sitting there. I got my phone popped open with my fantasy stuff, watching that score. The things on the TV. I have a snack or some meal going with a beverage. It just depends. Yesterday was a little different. We were doing some cleaning and stuff, so I didn't watch the first motos live.
Kind of just had it on the background thing.
Yeah, and then about the time the first 450 moto was ending, I turned it on, and so then I went back and found the 250 first moto on YouTube, so I was watching that while I was, like, cleaning dishes. And then I got done with that, and then the second moto started, so I watched the second motos, and then I watched the first 450 moto this morning. So I was all over the place. Dude, I mean, here's what I'm saying. Without being at the races, it is super hard, and I don't blame anybody, to carve out 4 or 5 hours of your weekend to watch this all.
I had to watch them twice. When we watched it, so I was out golfing yesterday during the race with the guitarist of Love Labor, who, by the way, little bit of shout out. They're in the studio right now finishing up their first LP, which is great.
Cool.
So Jeff Martin and I went golfing, and we're watching it. We have it up in the golf cart. He's a motocross guy. He rides a Kawasaki 450, and when Deegan went wire to wire in the first moto, we were going ape shit. Even while we're like between the shots, all the people around us like, what the fuck is wrong with these guys? We're golfing,
Yeah.
But it was awesome. But I still had to go. I mean, mostly because I got a little buckled while I was out at the.
Now, which was more impressive, the first one where he went wire to wire, or the second one where he went like?
It was way more entertaining the second moto.
Yeah, because that second moto was impressive because he caught everybody and passed everybody, and like I didn't know that he was gonna really catch first place there.
Yeah, you thought he was just.
I can't remember who was in first
start. Right?
Yeah. But then, like, all of a sudden, he got to quote Langston, he got the bit in his teeth, and, like, boom, off he went to the races, boys. So that's impressive. I'm super pumped that he did it because it's going to be an awesome 3 race sprint here to the finale.
Tighten it right
and
up.
I don't know if you listened to the show last week. You probably didn't. My whole goal is if he wins that title at Ironman when we're there is to get under that tent and drink beer out of that exhaust as they're revving it. to have a picture or a video of me behind Deegan's bike for all the damn haters out there that are like, oh, you're a hater, you hate him. Just Duff just revving the shit out of the bike, and me just like, yeah, pouring the cores and like, hey, in my face, like, oh, just take it all. Like, oh man, that's my goal. So that's what we have to do.
Okay.
If he wins that title, we have to be under that tent for that celebration at Ironman.
Well, let's make a wager out of this then. So if you're calling that for Deegan, that means I got to go with 96.
I don't know if I'm calling that. I'm just like hoping because the content side of it for our purposes is going to be awesome.
A nice dose of hopium. I got you.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole thing. It's like I don't really know. I mean, okay, let's just ask you, who do you have?
Well,
Do you think Deegan gets it done, or do you think Hunter pulls his head out of his ass here for the last 3 rounds and gets it done?
It's Hunter's to lose. I would love to see both of them. I love both of them. They're great. I mean, I don't really love Deegan that much, but he's great. He's a young guy. He has to win it with me first, right? But I really am a big fan of his and a lot of what they're about. And they're proud Americans. I love that, right? But yeah, it's good luck beating Hunter. He's the guy to beat.
Well, I will say though, the kid's got confidence. Did you?
Fuck yeah, he does.
Did you hear his little dig at Hunter in the post race interview there on the podium?
I must have missed it.
I don't remember exactly what he said, but he basically said like, because, man, what did JT say to him? It was something about like, oh, were you nervous or something? And he was basically like, bro, I don't know, that was so sick, like blah blah blah. He's like, but honestly, I mean, he should be the one who's nervous. He's supposed to be winning these things. Like, called him out of like, you're supposed to be winning these.
Damn
I
right,
just smoked your ass, dude. And I'm like, whoo,
Cool.
this is creating some controversy.
Yeah,
all right.
All right, cool.
I mean, I'm all about that life
Yeah.
because I'm here to talk about it. So like, yeah, call him out. Be like, bro, Hunter, you're supposed to be beating me. You're 25 years old, whatever, 24. I'm 16, and I just spanked you 1-1, which you haven't done all year, by the way. He's the first person to go 1-1 this year.
Yeah. On that gangsta ass purple Yamaha.
And like, here's my thing too. Hunter's issues with not going 1-1 have all been start dependent. And yesterday was no exception. He didn't get good starts either, Moto.
Jeff been getting great starts.
Yeah, and I'm like, how are you going to... Like, you can't continue to do this because this is what's going to happen. Because, to be honest, Deegan's a really good starter, too.
Yeah.
Like, he's super good.
He's probably like 145 pounds or something, right?
I mean, I between the star bike, what he weighs, all that kind of shit, like, okay, that all factors into it, but his timing's great, too.
Yeah.
Like, he gets
All
jumps.
above.
So... I don't know, man. It was interesting to watch him struggle the last 2 rounds and then see him bounce back.
Yeah, sorry to cut you off. The first moto, they had an early gate drop that got Hunter and a bunch of guys. And
that was interesting. The whole gate situation there was interesting.
Yeah.
So,
That's gotten me a few times in my career, and it kind of pisses you off because you're like, man, I wasn't fucking ready. Because like right now, I don't ride anymore or race. I haven't ridden since 2019, but I'm a big hockey guy now. I play semi-pro, and when I go to the face-off, I'm a center. When the fucking when the ref drops it early or messes it up, I'm pissed. Like, fucking give me a fair drop. You know what I mean? So same thing with the gate drop in motocross. You know.
Yeah. So, all right. So that's been your Deegan Danger Zone there, brought to you by our friends at Isaac Nelson Designs. There, make sure look them up for all of your logo design needs. There.
We gotta come up with a wager for this though, because you can't just go shotgunning beers out of Deegan's exhaust if he wins and me do
it's all
nothing.
for content, bro.
For the content.
We gotta do it. We gotta do it for the gram.
All right. Well,
we have to do it for the gram. We cannot leave without being under that tent, shotgunning a beer.
The two of us will both be at Iron Man.
Yes, we will.
So we got to come up with a counter to that. If Deegan wins, you get to shotgun a beer out of his pipe if we can pull it off. If Hunter wins, I don't know.
Hunter's celebration will be much more subdued than the Deegan celebration. I will tell you that right now.
I mean, maybe.
No, he won that Supercross title. Yeah. They like all went to dinner, like a nice, respectable dinner, and like went home. There wasn't, from what I understand, like there wasn't a big celebration like that. So, all right. So Justin Cooper goes 3-2 for second.
He's impressive.
He's better now than he's been. He's kind of started to show up as the Justin Cooper that we all thought was going to show up at the beginning of the year. And then
that little weird thing in the middle of the season, it sucks.
He showed up really flat. Like, I think there was honestly too much outdoor prep, and then he just showed up flat, and it's taken him till now to really like get himself back going. He had that fuck up at High Point that he didn't race and everything.
Yeah, he had a mechanic change too. He used to have Mohead, who's a great guy.
Yep.
Now I don't even know who works for him now, but big changes, and you like to see him getting pretty good because this is getting in like the next race is I think Unadill's where they're going to announce Team USA, right? So
that's what they usually do, but it's probably going to get pushed to Buds to be honest, because nobody really knows who's going at this point. So you've got basically Deegan's like the 250 guy.
Cooper's a married one, right?
Because Cooper's going to get married, so he can't do it. Honda has said they will support Sexton, even though the deal's not done. But it's done October 1st. But Honda has said they will support him for that race, and Chase has said he will go. So that'll be an interesting thing, because that's like an interesting dichotomy there, too, because Roger's in charge of the team.
Last hurrah.
Yeah, so we'll see how that goes.
Can we touch on something real quick here?
Go ahead.
So before we finish the MX Destinations team, so October 1 is when he is going to leave Honda, allegedly. Mm-hmm. That's not through playoffs yet. Yeah,
playoffs are done the second to last weekend of September.
Oh, okay. So it's going to be through playoffs.
They moved, so it was supposed to be that last weekend of September, but they moved it forward because LA Coliseum was booked for something else that they didn't know or something. Yeah, I'm not really sure. Anyway, so and then I think the third person, they're probably going to put RJ on a 450.
Anderson?
Maybe.
Would you take RJ over Anderson?
Cowie doesn't support that race. So that's where Anderson and AC kind of get shit out the back. But RJ wants to go. RJ's been bidding to go, and we need a 450 guy, so RJ.
AP also.
Huh?
AP would be good also.
Yeah.
I think he's got less edge.
Yeah. But AP hasn't been out there since the start of outdoors vying for a spot.
Right.
So, I don't know. We'll see.
RJ got 5th or 4th this last weekend.
He got 4th. I was going to say, going down the list here, we already talked about Hunter going 2-4 for 3rd. It's his title to lose still. But it's interesting and it's close.
Yep.
And he needs to get his shit together on the starts because I think that's really what's costing
That's
him.
a very Hunter thing to kind of do just enough to be leading.
Yeah.
And not saying that he tried to go down or any of that stuff, but it's kind of his style to where
he doesn't.
He's just like barely ahead.
I give it to him. He never seems worried in his interviews, no matter what the fuck's happening. But I don't know, man. This is a little too close for comfort, in my opinion. All right, so RJ goes 4-5 for 4th. And that's just an RJ thing, man.
I think that he's off his normal. I think his normal is higher.
I want to see him ride a 450
Yeah.
all the time, and see if it straightens him out or not.
So we
'Cause
talked
he-
earlier in the show about what happens to guys when they have children and get married and those type of things. And I think that RJ is a great guy, and I think that Family Man's really honorable. But
You think he's changed? I feel like he's the same RJ we've had before.
His
He's like
peak was
checkers
when
or
he-
wreckers, essentially.
yeah, his peak was when he just started doing the Family Man stuff.
Yeah.
But there are very few people in the history of our sport that are either good or improving after that happens. So it's like,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Levi Kitchen goes 8-3 for 5th.
I thought he looked good. That wasn't very good.
Washougal Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's up and down, but I don't think he gels with that team. Like, his attitude doesn't gel with that team as well, which is why he's leaving.
Where's he go?
I think he's going to PC. Is
Great.
where he's going.
I love his style. He's got a little bit weird style with his wrists. Like his arms are up, but he's like kind of like one of these things.
He's very AP-esque.
Yeah.
Kind of hangs off the back of the bike. He's a
Neat
taller
look.
kid. So, Hammaker goes 7-6 for 6th.
quiet.
I'll tell you what, though, dude. That kid is fucking fast.
Yeah.
And if he can put together a couple seasons where he stays healthy the entire season, he's going to be dangerous. Like, dangerous.
He's under contract another couple years.
I think he's got at least next year. All right. Shimoda goes 6-7 for 7th. Really thought we had something brewing with him.
Yeah.
He's terrified of that bike, which
Really?
2 motors locking up on the face of triples on you will do that.
I don't know nothing about that.
That's why I didn't race Supercross, because so from what I understand here through the grapevine, they're trying to run titanium rods and they keep breaking them. And he broke 2, and the one was what broke his collarbone for Supercross, and then he locked up another one somewhere, and he's terrified of that bike. He didn't want to race outdoors either.
Wow.
He doesn't want to ride that bike.
Why don't you just put it to Carrillo rod like everybody else and call it a day?
Because why would you do that when you can try to push the limit with a titanium rod? It's
Well,
fucking
that's what-
stupid.
that's
Why
what
would you think
Mitch is
that?
good at,
why
but-
would you make assumptions like, hey, let's just put in a normal rod? It's fine. He's going to Honda anyway.
Yeah, he's a
so
Honda guy now, eh?
As of October 1st, yes, he will be.
That's good. I think that the 3 of those are going to be awesome at Honda. I'm a little bummed there's no Americans, but that's okay.
There is. Chance Hymas is going to be on there.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So there will be 1.
Yeah, no disrespect to Chance. I shouldn't forget about him. Like
Yep. Well, he's hurt, so it's just like out of sight, out of mind in this thing. Max Volan goes 5-8 for 8th. From what I understand, he's riding for a ride at this point. I
love his style.
He is great, dude. At Redbud, he was like upside down over all sorts of jumps. Like, so good. And
Allegedly, he's been unbelievable during the week, and it's just the race time is not really panning out for
it's
him.
that KTM team. I think if you get him off that KTM team, I think he's so much better.
It's funny how
It's too rigid.
How the turns table, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
KTM used to be like, if you want to win, you got to fucking go orange, and now it's like,
Yeah,
get me
but
off that
they're
thing.
too rigid. So it's fine if you have someone like Dungey, but when you
Mm-hmm.
have basically anybody else, which is why Plessinger's doing what he's doing too. From what I understand, AP really wanted to go back to Star also, but there's just not room.
Yeah, right.
So, Carson Mumford shows up on a PC 250, goes 9-9 for 9th, so that's okay.
Props.
Pierce Brown goes 12-11 for 10th. Who knows?
Good rider.
Talon Hawkins, he's still a rookie. He goes 11-14 for 11th, so that's okay.
Nice for rookie.
Caden Braswell goes 15-13 for 12th. All right. Jalik Swole, 10-18 for 13. I'm just going to chalk that up to the track. He's usually better than that. As much as I'm not a Jalik guy, he's better than that.
Yeah, he's better than that.
See what he's like on that Triumph next year. That'll be interesting.
Next year?
Yeah. The 250 teams start next year. I'm surprised we haven't seen a bike yet. Like, it's
too.
getting late to see a bike. But
Well, about a month from now is when the next year models get really released and stuff.
So we'll probably see it soon. Preston Kilroy goes 14-15 for 14th.
Not even a month. Usually right before Loretta's, right? Or right at Loretta's?
It's pretty close
Which
right
is this
now.
week.
It's in this time frame here. Let's put it this way. If we don't see it by the end of August, I'm going to be super surprised
Yeah.
as to, like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Because they have a facility. They bought the old Moto X compound down there. Ferry's there riding the bike all the time.
Evan or Tim?
Evan.
Cool.
Because Evan's going to be I think Evan and Jalik are going to be the 250 kids for next year.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool. I'm excited to see Evan Ferry ride.
That's why you haven't seen or heard anything from Evan Ferry, because he can't take any videos during the week, and then he shows up for like these either for either the Moto Combines or the Futures races, and he has to ride Yamaha because they can't ride the Triumph.
Oh,
But they've moved to Georgia.
Wow.
They're in Georgia riding this facility, which is also super weird because everybody knows the facility they bought. We all know where it's at.
Yeah.
I cannot believe no one has flown a drone over that place yet and gotten videos or pictures of this bike.
might be like an NDA kind of thing.
Doesn't matter. Like, well, I don't give a shit. Why would I not fly a fucking drone over? I mean, I'm not going to go to Georgia, nor do I have a drone. But again, why has someone else in the industry not done that yet? It shocks me, to be honest with you. It shocks me that like someone from Vital
Spy
hasn't done it.
spy shots,
spy
like
photos.
So where I live is right by the GM proving grounds.
Oh, yeah.
It's like 15 minutes
and
from
it's
my
just
house.
like drones after drones
Like
after
you
drones.
you get well, I don't know about drones, but you get like the where they wrap it with like basically camouflage
Yeah.
in the cars, so
Mhm.
they're like you're looking at the next year's model, but you can't really tell what's got on it.
Yeah.
And like Motor Trend and all those people are always
Yep.
right in my neighborhood, like not in the neighborhood, but you know, right around
Yeah.
town, taking pictures of them and shit. And it's
Yep.
It's kind of interesting. You don't see that too much. You see a little bit like motocross action when the new bikes come out in the spring for like,
Yeah.
Japan and stuff, but that's about it.
Like I said, it's super surprising to me, especially because it's trickled down so far that I know where the facility is and that they're riding there, that it hasn't happened yet. So, I don't know. We'll see. Josh Varese goes 16-16 for 16th. Oh, wait, we missed. Sorry. Faulkner goes 21-10 for 15th. Did you see that first moto?
Oh man, that wreck. Yeah, I'm not really a huge. I never was a Faulkner guy, and the more of his bad experience, I'll just call it, keeps happening. The more
Yeah.
I'm like, I feel for the guy. Like, fuck, give the guy a break already. You
I know.
And the way he wrecked, where he gets jammed up in the back tire of somebody else, I had
Fucking
that happen
sucks.
one time, and
Yeah.
I wasn't finishing the race. Tell you that much. And he got all chewed up like a fucking Jaguar came after him. You
Yeah.
know, like that's tough. And then to show up for the second moto and get into the points,
Yep.
being like that, that's grit. I give
He's
him
really
props.
really trying to get into that SMX stuff too. So
I give him props.
Like I said, Varese goes 16-16 for 16th. Ryder D goes DNF 12 for 17th. I have no idea what happened there, but he fucked my fantasy, so thank you.
You know, the Faulkner thing is interesting because the main reason I didn't like him when he was young is because I thought he didn't have grit. And I thought he was like, I thought he was kind of a sissy
Now you're
boy.
like, this is a gritty motherfucker.
Well,
here.
now it's like, okay, he's earning it, right?
Yeah.
So like that earns my respect big time.
Yeah. Dylan Schwartz goes 13-38 for 18th. Brock Bennett goes 18-17 for 19th. And Preston Basefluke makes his pro debut there, going 17-21 for 20th points. And then we'll see him at Loretta's. Connor Visker goes 35-33. He's a Bellevue, Michigan native for 36.
No shit.
And Tom Vial, DNS, crashed. I'm not really sure
Yeah,
exactly
he got the
what
wind
happened.
knocked out of himself.
Yeah, and they never came back.
I never saw the crash, but you don't like to see that.
No, I don't know. Of course, he's another one like, what's it called? Like Shimoda. I thought with that Southwick race, like he was really winding up and we were going to see like a second half kind of like better. Right. And it's been a lot of the same. And then you have this crap happen. It's like, oh, that's terrible. I think the riding two different disciplines is what's really getting to him. I think he's got the single day figured out. The tracks he can kind of figure out and he gets better. But it's he rode 8-9 rounds of Supercross, and now we're going to ride 11 outdoors. And then, oh, by the way, you're going to have enough points, so you're going to qualify in for what's it called here next month. You're going to ride those 3. Like, that's a lot, I think.
He's France or
French,
Spain?
yeah. No, he's French. So,
well, he's about the only thing I like about France, straight up.
All right, that is your 250 race recap, brought to you by our friends at Adept Creative Co. Make sure to look them up for all your graphics needs. All right, anything else before we wrap up here?
Pretty good show.
I think it was all right.
I had something on the tip of my tongue, but I think we covered everything pretty good.
Cool. I really got to pee, so that's a big fucking problem.
Couple of weeks off, eh?
Couple weeks off. We are not going to have shows. There will be more content coming on the channel here. I've got a bunch of backed up. We're going to do the Redbud 2023 national video will show up. I have a couple of how-tos filmed already that I'm working on editing right now. Those will come out in the next couple of weeks. There will be a throwback Ironman 2022 national from footage I have for last year that I never used that will come out. Obviously, we'll keep pumping out shorts because I've got a ton of those. But no shows for the next couple of weeks here. There's nothing to really talk about, so we're not going to film anything.
Iron Man, both of us will be there. Are we going to do a show on the grounds again?
No, we're doing a show Sunday when we come back.
Boo.
They're okay. They don't do as well.
They might not get the views, but I think that's better content.
The audio is not as great. We will, maybe we'll do like a post-race reaction show where we walk through the pits and kind of talk a little bit or something, but it won't be the full show. We will film the full show Sunday. Well, supposedly Justin's going to come.
Really?
If you want to stay, you can. Yeah, because he's not going to the race. He's got to stay here. So supposedly he's going to show up and do the show. Yeah. So if you want to stay and do the show, like, that's fine too. If you don't, I understand, because we'll be gone all weekend. But
No, let's go. I'm ready.
So no show for a couple of weeks here, but we'll be back to wrap up Unadilla. So thanks to our sponsors: Complete Med Solutions, Complete Racing Solutions, TLR Coatings, Adept Creative Co, Isaac Nelson Designs, Gutter Works, and Holster Co. TLR Coatings. Thanks to all of them. Links in the description down below. Also, just so everybody knows, there are links for Amazon. There's links for our merchandise, all that kind of shit in the description down below too. Helps us out, helps us get to the races and everything. So thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll see everybody in a couple of weeks.